Hello, welcome to the live reality game podcast. My name is Steve, and I'm back with more Surviving Reelfoot, the Decennium deep dive coverage, where I'll be interviewing players from the most recent season. And joining me today, I have the final Musty Misfits here in the evening in America and really early in Australia. It's Ethan. Ethan, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. A little tired because it's early in the morning, but nah. I'm doing really well. I'm just still getting over my jet lag, but I'm happy to be home.
I feel like you've now seen more of America than I have.
Yeah, I think quite a lot of people said that as well. I did get to see a lot of America, so definitely no complaints there.
Top 3 places you visited.
Okay. New York, Seattle, and Tennessee.
I was about to call you out if Tennessee was on the list, but
Tennessee.
You got it for number 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you did it right, because it's what, a 16-hour flight to the United States? More?
Yeah. 14 hours, and then that's just to LA, and then from LA to Tennessee, like Nashville is 4 hours. So, yeah.
So I think you did it right. It's like, I'm going to come, I'm going to starve for a week in the wilderness, and then I'm just going to go the next 2 months and see everything the U.S. has to offer. That's not a bad way to do it.
Yeah, I have to. It's too much money to come over for a short amount of time, and might as well take the opportunity to make friends playing Reelfoot, and then hang out with everyone and just see the country. And it'll be a long time before I'm back because of how expensive it is and how poor I am. But I might as well go the one time, make a big trip out of it, and just have like an amazing experience.
So talk to me. Well, I guess let's start at the very beginning. So this is your second game you played. The first game you played was Survivor Sydney. When was that?
That was 2 years ago. That was July 2022, I believe. And yeah, 1-day game, 16 players. One person comes back from a battle back. So if you compare experiences and you think here's a 1-day game and here's Surviving Reelfoot's like 1,000 1-day games, so they're very, very different. And playing a 1-day game definitely didn't prepare me at all for Reelfoot.
So, I mean, a lot of things that Survivor Sydney, one Christy Bennett, one Natty P. We'll talk more about that, but you play Sydney Survivor, which those of you who want to see, you can find these episodes on YouTube to watch. How do you then discover Reelfoot and decide, like, I'm going to go fly halfway, literally the other side of the world to go be in the wilderness with strangers to play Survivor?
Yeah, great question. I actually found out about Surviving Reelfoot on Instagram, on the LRG_casting Instagram.
Run by your castmate, Melanie Bartlett.
Exactly, yeah, which I didn't know that until the game. So that was really fun to have that little, like, oh, wow, like I found out about Surviving Reelfoot through the Instagram page that she runs. So that was pretty cool. The worlds sort of colliding. So yeah, I found out about Reelfoot probably like almost a year ago. I think I applied August last year. I applied really early. I think I was one of the first people to apply and do an interview and stuff. And I actually made it my mission, my goal to be one of the first people to apply. I just feel like you have more chance of getting on LRGs if you're someone who makes, I don't think it really matters, but in my own head, I like to be in first and in early, because that way the people who are casting can go, okay, we have to have Ethan. So now you've got to work around having one less spot for everyone else who's going to apply after me. That's how I think about it. So that's why I always try and apply early, to just like, if I apply early and there's 20 spots or there's 10 spots that I can get, then hopefully I'll get one of them They just went, yep, you can have this. You can have one spot, and then after that, there's 9 spots for everyone else to apply. If that makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, because you and I did a podcast together last fall on everything
Yes.
Australia and US live reality games. And so
Yes.
I was very curious if Reelfoot was already in your head. Prior to that, it sounds like it was.
It was, yes. I reached out to you, Stephen, in preparation for Reelfoot. It was very well in advance, but I felt like coming over from Australia and into the American scene, I really had no understanding of how different your LRG scene is than Australia's. Ours is so small and tight knit. We don't have that many games, but I really wanted to understand and have more of a an understanding going into Reelfoot about how it works. Will people know each other? Like I just wanted to ask about your experiences and how they compare. You to played a couple of times, and you know what I mean. So that was definitely, I guess, like me, just trying to gain as much information as I could before playing the game. So I definitely knew I was going to play when I reached out and didn't a podcast with you.
Because it was fun when the cast was being revealed. I'm like, wait a second, this guy looks familiar.
Yeah.
And it took me a second. It's like, oh, I did a full 2-hour discussion with them.
Yeah.
So what else do you do to prepare for Reelfoot?
I think it's more just mental preparation. Just, I wanted to go into Reelfoot, just having tried as hard as I could and having a challenge myself as much as possible. So in preparation, just mentally being prepared to be uncomfortable and to challenge myself at every stage throughout the game. Otherwise, honestly, there's not much you can do to prepare other than bring warm clothes. I would say, that you get given a packing list and you get told what you can and can't bring. If you can bring something that is the warmest thing of your life, because I made that mistake. And I was just like, oh, this will be fine. Like, it'll be cold, but I'll be okay. Like, I don't need a big hoodie or something when they, they're like, you get one hoodie, and like, the thing that I brought was terrible and tiny and so cold and, just so dumb. So just, if you want to really prepare, make sure you're warm at night and bring all the warm clothes that you're possibly allowed to. Don't do what I did. I was stupid.
You talked about, trying to do your research about, what to expect going to a game in the United States. What was one thing that you feel like you nailed and one thing that surprised you?
Oh, okay. One thing I nailed was I really wanted to come out of Reelfoot having friends. And I know it's a weird thing to be like, oh, I nailed that. Like, yeah, like I got friends now, but that was my intention going in. Is I wanted to play so that after the game, I'd be able to hang with people and travel with them. And I had no plans for after Reelfoot for the next 7 weeks of my US trip. So
Wow.
I really went in being like, okay, I have to make friends here. Like, I have to. So I think I nailed that. And then one thing that surprised me or shocked me was just the caliber to which the players were playing at. Like, just as a quick summary, like, I honestly felt like I was playing in an all-star cast. Like, every fucking person is so strategic. They're so smart. It's like a dog pile of social gameplay. Everyone is trying to out-socialize and outplay each other with their social capabilities, and like everyone gets along mostly, and it's just everyone is just socially outplaying each other. And that like really shocked me, is how good everyone was and how well they knew Survivor. Like there's typically a strategy in Survivor which you can adopt to get far in the game. Whatever that is, like, people can figure out themselves, but like
I was like, please tell me more what this magical strategy is.
But like everyone is just so good. like everyone in the game, like that really shocked me. How good everyone was, and I was not expecting that. So it was a positive shock because it was fun, like getting to be part of a a cast that is just ridiculously good.
Did you fly in and immediately start playing Reelfoot, or did you have time to adjust the jet lag?
Yeah, I had about a week before, which I think was too long, honestly. I arrived in Nashville and just chilled out for a week. I was extremely, extremely nervous. I didn't sleep. Like, yes, the jet lag didn't help, but every single night until the night before the game, I had a horrible sleep. Like I'd wake up 3, 4, 5, 6 times during the middle of the night. I was just like stressed. I was so anxious going into Reelfoot. And then for whatever reason, the night before I slept like a baby and had like the best sleep of my life, which is normally the opposite. Normally it's like, okay, the days leading up to it, like you're a little anxious, but like it's fine. And then the night before, it's like you get no sleep. I had the complete opposite. I was so anxious the entire week. It was a mixture of being in a different country, by myself, complete, just new surroundings, like just very intimidating, and just like just very difficult being alone as well, and like not having too much to do, and just alone in my own thoughts. I'm like, oh, I'll watch some Survivor to like amp myself up in terms of like I'm getting ready to play, and then I'd watch a couple of episodes and I'm just freaking out. Like I'm just freaking out watching Survivor, so I got to turn that off. Like I can't be watching any Survivor right now. It's just freaking me out. So I was there a week before, and the jet lag definitely didn't help. But I was waking up at 2, 3:30, 4 a.m. in the morning, not being able to get back to sleep. So it was actually pretty miserable in the lead up to the game. But for whatever reason, the night before, I slept like a baby and had the best sleep of my life.
Which is great because you'll probably not sleep the next night at least. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So you arrive at the game. Was there anyone you recognized or anyone that stood out to you in that purgatory before the game began?
Yeah, good question, Steve. And there might have been one person I recognized. Matty P, obviously. I recognized him. We played Sydney Survivor together 2 years ago.
Australia is such a small country, continent that everyone just knows each other in Australia, right? So it's natural to assume you run into someone you know.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that I died on the inside when I saw him, because it's a mixture of feelings, right? It's this entire 11 months leading up to the game that I applied, and and then 7 months before finding out I'm playing, like in my head, I've created a reality where I'm going over to the US by myself and doing this like really big, fun, awesome, scary experience alone. So my entire reality is built around just me. And then now I rock up. I'm already nervous. I'm already like shitting myself. And then I see Matt, and it's definitely a mixture of a couple of feelings. One, I love Matt. He's my boy. Like, it was awesome to see him there, but like also what the fuck at the same time. So I'm glad he was there. But it was just a really hard mix of emotions of being so tense, that the game's about to start and everyone's just chatting so idly, and a bunch of smiles, and like you're just trying to be friendly, and everyone's sussing each other out. And then in my head, like I'm freaking out. Like I don't know if I should go talk to him. I don't know if I should just be lying that I know him. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to figure this all out in real time while trying to introduce myself, and people are like, oh, you've got an accent. I'm like, yeah, I'm from France or something, like I'm not allowed to actually tell them where I'm from. But so there's a lot going on. To see Matt there was definitely, it just made it harder, because it's just my reality had just come crumbling down. But if there's anyone I wanted to see there, it was definitely Matt, 1,000%.
Talking a little bit more about plans of what you're going to say to people. Were you going to disclose to people you would play Sydney Survivor, or did you have a story of what you want to tell people, what they want to think, you want them to think of you?
Yeah. I was just going to tell people that I hadn't played Survivor before because there's no real reason for them to know that I played Sydney Survivor. They'd have to be like fucking deep into the community, and that'd be crazy. But otherwise, I think I was just going to be like, I was going to keep my cards close to my chest. But eventually, in the game, people were sharing their Survivor experiences. So I was like, fuck it. Like, no one actually cares. Like, no, like, genuinely, for whatever reason in our cast, no one gave a shit. People were just like, yeah, I played 3 times. I came 5th and 8th and 17th. Like, no one. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then someone's like, oh, this other person won. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay. We have people who have won here, and you know what I mean. So I was just like, I eventually like dropped the facade of having played before and just told people because no one cared. But I didn't know that. I thought people would be holding their cards close to their chest. So I just did the same until the time was a bit more right to tell people.
Did you have any other strategies you had in mind for when you hit the ground, or were you gonna just kind of see things as they came?
Yeah. Yes, I always like to play with a ride or die. So I went into the game looking for a ride or die. I think that's just sort of how I operate. I sort of need someone who can keep me in check and keep me in line, but someone that like I can just freely tell literally everything to. Like someone I can just check back in, just exchange information to the best of my knowledge and the best of their knowledge. And it's just like, it's so much easier playing the game with someone who like will not write your name down. So
Yes.
my strategy going in is, okay, find my ride or die. I don't want to come across too strategic. I just want to be really sociable, really likable, do my best in challenges. I didn't really have the most long-term strategy, if that makes sense. I didn't have a strategy for, pre-swap, swap, merge, deep into merge. I didn't.
You don't need that point.
Yeah, but I just had I want to go in, make some friends, find my ride or die, try and sit somewhere comfortably within the tribe, and just be like someone who's enjoyable to be around.
So the game begins, and you're put on the green tribe, the Okina tribe. Matty P is off on Nonkana, the pink tribe. So
good.
We'll come back to him later in the story. So your tribe is you, along with Charlie, Hannah, Germa, Melissa, Tony, Trinica, Melanie, Danny, and Joe. Looking at the 10 of you, how did you feel about this as a tribe?
Honestly, I thought, the first thing I do is assess our tribe in challenge ability. And I was like, okay, I think we're going to lose. I really looked at our tribe and I was like, I honestly, like, as they were sorting the cast out into green and pink and getting everyone's bags packed and stuff, I was the first green just sitting on the couch waiting, silence. And I'm just looking at every person who goes off the pink and then every person who comes and sits next to me on the couch in green. And then by the end of it, I'm like, yeah, we don't look like we're going to be that good at challenges. And I'm like, well, we got 2 days to like build bonds before we vote anyone out. So I'm really going to have to use those 2 days wisely because I don't think we're going to win. So obviously it turned out to be a different story, which is fantastic. But I think ultimately I got a really good vibe from my tribe. Like 10 people is a big tribe. And I think big tribes are obviously better just to be a little bit more hidden. And obviously just extend your chances in staying further into the game because there's more people to vote out. So yeah, looking at our tribe, I thought, okay, we've probably got a good mixture of people. Everyone's very likable. It's, you don't know how you don't know how you're going to interact with people and how you're going to fit into the overall tribe and stuff. But after figuring that out, I feel like, I was like, I really like our tribe. Everyone's really nice. And I think one thing which, I could definitely talk more in depth about later or whatever is I think my ability to recognize relationships, not perception. So, there's one thing where you perceive two people to be working together, right? Or three or whatever. But I feel like what I did well within my tribe is understand, okay, who's actually with who? Who's Hannah's number one? Who's Melissa's number one? Who's Melissa's priorities? Like, I feel like that's one thing I did exceptionally well is I understood who was where on every single person's tier list. Hannah had her number one, Melissa, and then that quickly changed to, German. And I knew for me, and like Trinica was above me on Hannah's list. Like I was probably like 4 or 5, just knowing where I was on everyone's like tier list. I think that really helped me early on, and also helped me form relationships, right? You talk about, like, your question was, how do I feel about my tribe, and like what what do I think of them? But I think everyone's very social, very likable, and I really just picked up who's getting along with who more. And okay, I know that the influential people in our tribe are, in my opinion, was Tony and Melissa. So what I did was got close to Tony and Melissa, because if they're the people making the decisions, then I want to be within their like top 3. Like, I want to be in their top 3 or worst 4th. You know what I mean? So just gauging where our tribe was at, and who I thought was going to be the most influential, and really just like getting myself in their good books, and then creating my own, like relationships.
How were those opening hours in the game then?
Honestly, I don't even remember the opening hours. Let's see. We get to camp. We sort of just, everyone's just like introducing each other, introducing themselves, and we're like, building a shelter. I don't remember. I remember being pretty nervous and a little bit more reserved than I normally am. But otherwise, I'm really just sitting back and gauging. Like, I'm just like, I'm using a couple of hours. I'm using like everyone's first thoughts and impressions on each other, and then I just take one step back. I have a look at who I think the power players in the tribe are going to be, and then I just go straight to them and build my relationships from there out.
And so you identified Melissa and Tony early on, then?
Melissa and Tony early on as, in my opinion, 2 people who are going to be leading the charge in terms of I just thought they would be the most influential in the tribe. And then my girl Trinica, who I was like, okay, Melissa and Hannah seem like they're number ones. Charlie and Tony seem like they're more number ones. So I'm like, okay, well, I need my own number one. So I like went to Trinica and built a relationship with her, and we got along really well. And I think we were just on the same page. The first couple of days there wasn't really much of strat chat because, you're hi Trinica, because you're kind of chilling, like first 2 days, no elims. So I just used that time to find someone who was on the same wavelength as me. And I think night 2, Trinica and I basically stayed up all night together, doing the fire. And we talked for like 2 minutes. Like, we were up for like 4 hours maintaining the fire, but we were both so tired. We talked for about 2 minutes, and it was just like, it was just a basic conversation around just being like on the same page strategically and wanting and liking each other and wanting to work together. And then after that it was like, yep, well, that's done, locked in now. Like, we chatted for 2 minutes, but we could just tell we were on the same page. So I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about Trinica anymore. She's my number one. I could trust her completely. Like, I just told her to, like, I like to play with a number one, and like, you're definitely not my number one. So let's go from there and like help each other get through the game.
So I want to talk to you about, like, your thoughts about idols and advantages. So in terms of idols, are those things you're actively hunting for? Do you just want to know where they are? Do you just not want anything to do with them?
Yeah. Idols, I want to know where they are. I guess everyone kind of does. Why wouldn't you? But we did go idle looking, the 5 of us who stayed out in the storm, night 1. So day 2 morning, the 5 of us went idle hunting. And yeah, like I'm down for an idle hunt, like I don't want the whole tribe to be there and, for it to be really weird. And, idle hunting is a really good way for someone to be ostracized and be off by themselves looking or be not looking enough. And someone's like, okay, Ethan's looking by himself and then he stopped looking. Very sus.
Mhm.
So, it's like idle hunting is a double-edged sword. You can either find the idol, no one knows, fuck yeah, I've got an idol, or you can get yourself in trouble for looking too much or not looking enough. And, people, like, as soon as one person's like, I think he has it, then you kind of just jump on board. Like, yeah, I think you're right. So idle hunting and like knowing what idols and advantages are, definitely try my best to find them if I can. But otherwise, I kind of just stick with the group. If the group's looking or, whatever, awesome. But otherwise, like, I just have a little look around. Like, I'm not digging. Like, if I'm just walking, to go like take a piss in the bush, like I'll have like a 1 minute or 2 minute look in the trees or something. I'm not doing anything to get me into trouble. Just stick with the pack. Just stick with the group.
Yeah. What about, so you learned that your season is going to have redemption. So one thing everyone said, I have to sign for a package. I apologize.
Okay,
Give me 1 minute.
Okay. That's okay. Go. I'll entertain the people, Stephen. Don't worry. The people are here for me anyway. Let's be real. Let's be real, guys. Come on. Let's go. I forgot the question, but who's in the chat? Who's in the chat? Blake. Hi, Blake. Trinica. Lydia. Hi, everyone. Burns. Look at my hero buff. This is what you get when you're a hero, Trinica. Take some notes. Shots fired. Oh, you're muted.
I apologize. I was waiting all day for the sign for that, and of course it arrives now. So I forgot to mention that beforehand.
That's okay. No dramas.
So you learn redemptions in play. This is probably something you're actually okay with, but tell me about your thoughts on redemption.
Yeah. They're like, yep, redemption. I'm like, great, because I've traveled across the other side of the world. So if I get out early, like I want to at least keep playing the game. I love the concept of redemption. I think it just gives people more of a chance to actually play. Everyone spends $350 to play the game. 2 days is fantastic. I love the 2 days, no elimination. I think that's really, really cool. I don't think you have to give a battle back. Like if you give people 2 days, 2 days is more than enough to justify, spending the money and like giving it a crack. Everyone wants to have a go. But having the battle back is just like the safety net of, okay, well, if I get voted out, I could still potentially come back. But I kind of just forget about it. It never comes into play in terms of who I'm voting out. How hard I still want to try to stay in the game. Like you just don't want to get voted out. So yeah, I love the battle back idea. And that I guess leads to the fire tokens and stuff. That twist I think was really cool. I haven't seen a Survivor season that they use fire tokens or anything, so I was sort of asking like.
You haven't watched Survivor season 40?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so this is like you're like, what is this?
I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm like, okay, is this an in-game currency, which will be used at a station, and there'll be things to get? I don't know. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to that fucking station because that's just like painting a big red target on my back. And I already sound completely different. So, I don't need to be putting more of a target on my back. I just speak and people are like, oh, there's the Aussie. Like we know where you can't miss me. You really can't miss me. So I'm like, okay, this is just, other people can go do this outpost thing and risk, coming back and lying or whatever. Like you can just take my tokens and get us some food or something, get us some comfort.
What about Shot in the Dark?
Oh, Shot in the Dark. I'm not a fan of Shot in the Dark. I don't know. I don't know why. I just like people consider shot in the dark too heavily. Personally, they're like, oh, they have a shot in the dark. We have to split the vote. Oh my god, it's a 1 in 8 chance. Like we don't need to be splitting the vote. Like we don't. And like every time there's a vote, you have to split it. You have to. You have to split the vote because it's a shot in the dark. They could play it, and if they're safe, you don't want it to be you. Personally, I'm just like, okay, if you're voting someone out and like you think they're going to write down your name, you haven't done a good enough job socially to like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think there's also the fear that someone may go rogue and capitalize it, right? What if someone in your line
right.
says like, well, like I wouldn't mind if Ethan went home, so I'm just going to cast a vote on Ethan, let the target shot in the dark go off, and oops, Ethan goes off with 1 vote, and you walk out being like, well, this sucks.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that it's a good point. Is I think that's what shot in the dark does, right? Is it's like, oh, I'll just chuck my vote here just in case, or let's split the votes because we never know. And I don't know, it's just like it makes things so much harder, and it makes like now we have to talk about splitting a vote. Like now we have to come up with a plan. Who's our number 1 target, and then who's the second person who's going to receive some votes? So I just I don't love shot in the dark. It's like it always never works, and it just forces people to split the vote. And again, I keep bringing it up because it's so frustrating. And it, just like it's hard enough to get enough people to vote 1 person. Now try doing that with 2 people, except who are you going to say is voting the second person? Like that's another hard thing is everyone wants to be the person voting the person out because then they're going home. You don't have to come back to camp justifying why you voted someone else. And then you're basically telling them they're the next on the chopping block. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're basically telling them the tribe agrees this person is going first, we vote them out. And then the person who receives votes as a backup is that person who we're like, okay, voting out next. So that's why I don't like shot in the dark. I don't like how people emphasize voting and splitting the votes and throwing their votes. It's just kind of painful and frustrating. But I haven't played. This is my second game, so it's the first time playing with shot in the dark. Still really cool twist in the game to get to experience anyway.
You mentioned that you didn't want to go on Outposts. Did the Outposts affect your game at all? And eventually, you do go on Outposts, and did that have any?
God,
affect your game?
Yeah, so I'll touch quickly on the Outpost, and then you jump forward just a sec to me going to the Outpost. Yeah, I think in my head again, I don't want to paint a target, so I'm not going. I'm just not going. Like I don't want to go. Like obviously, you go, you get more opportunities for advantages and idols and things that will help you in the game. But personally, I just want to rely more on my social gameplay and then let these people go to the Outpost. So then as we move further into the game, hey, this person's been to the Outpost once, twice. They could have something, they're a bigger threat than me. I'm not a threat. I'm just here to chill and have fun and be social. Going later in the game, though, I had to go because, it was just after I had tried blindsiding Melissa with an idol in her pocket. And obviously that didn't work. And I had to be upfront and tell her I voted for her. And Melissa's the type of person where if you try and vote her out and you fail, you should probably just roll over and die because you're her number 1 target. There's just no point anymore to living. You should really just like Melissa is not the person you want to go against. You need her on your side. And so when I went to the Outpost, I'm like, I have to go to the Outpost. 1, I haven't been, so it's a good reason to get my tribe to be like, yeah, like it's my turn to go. And 2, I cannot afford her to go to get an advantage and then fuck me over. Obviously, we both end up going, and that was like worst case scenario. Yeah, I didn't let Melissa go with me. She just went. Like, I couldn't say, hey, you're not coming. You're not going, you know? Like, Trinica, why didn't you step up, huh? Why didn't you tell Melissa, you know what? Me and Ethan are going. That would have been fantastic. But you didn't do that. You just stood there and watched.
So you go with Melissa and then Hannah and Carrie from the other side. I don't have any notes on this outpost. Does anything come out of this outpost visit?
Yes. Oh my God. So, okay, take some notes, Stephen. So I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out because I have all the tokens from our tribe. I have like 15 tokens. Melissa has like 4. And I make sure that I hold on to them because I do not want her to just be like, okay, here's the tokens, I'm buying whatever it is and running away. So I held on to all, even like when I was trying to sort them and put them in my pocket, she was like, oh, I'll hold them for you. I'm like, no, you are not holding the tokens. You're just not holding them. Like, I have to be in control of these tokens. So yeah, we get there, meet with Kiri and Hannah. Hannah is like crying. Hannah's like freaking out. She got left out of the last vote. And like Melissa and Hannah are like, they're buddy, you know. So Melissa's like looking out for Hannah. We're trying to find out, you know, what's going on. Hannah says she's fucked. Like, Hannah feels like she's next, gone. Mm-hmm. Personally, I didn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. Hannah is she's too good socially, and I don't think people ever have enough reason to want to vote her out. So I didn't believe it. And then Kiri, I hadn't talked to at all. I hadn't met her yet. And the 4 of us rock up, and there's only one thing, and it's 6 tokens. And obviously they have like 4 total or something, and we have like 20. So my dumbass, Melissa puts out her hand and asks me for 2 more tokens so she can buy whatever it is. It looks like an idol. It looks like something that's, you know, it looks like an advantage. And in my head, time like literally slows down. And in my head, I'm like, I cannot give Melissa the tokens. I'm saying to myself, Ethan, get 6 tokens out, you know, trade it for the item and take the item yourself. Do not give her the tokens. Do not give her the tokens. And what do? Give her the fucking tokens so that she can pay for it, pick it up and buy it. And as soon as she does that, I say to Melissa, okay, I don't care. I literally say to her, I don't care what this is, but I want it. I just straight up tell her, hey, whatever this is, I want it. Like, I want it. And she's like, okay, let's just open it first and have a look and see. So we sort of like turn our backs and open it so we don't show, you know. Oh, actually, I don't think we were allowed to open it until we leave because Hannah and Kiri were asking for it. They was, can we have it? Like, and Melissa was like, honestly, it feels like the individual immunity that both Carl and Trinica won at the Disgusting Food Eating Challenge. Like, it feels like that. I'm like, and I have a feel of it as well. Like, yeah, I think Melissa might mention.
It's kind of a large bag.
It's not too big. But I'm like, oh, it definitely could be an idol. And Melissa might even say, oh, I think it could even be a fake idol or something. She might even just say it. But we can't look at it before deciding whether to give it to them or not. Obviously, we can't risk giving it to them. So we take it, and then, yeah, I'm just like, Melissa, I want it. Whatever it is, I like, give it to me. Like, I'm just like, I'm so pissed at myself for not having grabbed it myself that I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just have to be so forthcoming and just straight, like, give me this advantage. Like, I want it because I know it's between me and her. And like, obviously we're trying to mend our relationship, but you just can tell she's not the person to forgive so easily. Like, forgive, but don't forget. That's the sort of person that Melissa is. She'll forgive you to your face and she'll mean it, you know, on a personal level, she's okay with it, you know? but she will not forget that I tried voting her out. So I have to get this advantage. And then we open it, it's a fake idol, and I'm like, whatever, you can have it. I don't
care. Doesn't matter to my game.
I don't care anymore. Yeah.
So, going back in time to day one.
Yeah.
By the end of day one, are you feeling less nervous? Is there someone you're looking at? It's like, this person's gonna be a threat to me later on, etc.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling a lot less nervous. But it was still wet and cold and terrible conditions. So, still not feeling amazing, but I don't know. I think Melissa, again, is just one of those people, and her name's probably going to be mentioned 1,000 times. She's just a threat. She's just a threat. Melissa, we know you're a threat. She radiates threat, and she's the best social player on our tribe by far. And it's so obvious, at least it's so obvious to me, that she's so good socially that she's someone that'll make the merge and just be a massive target at the merge. So definitely wanted her around. That's for sure.
Did you at what point did you kind of come to the conclusion of who you wanted to be the first boot of your tribe, or who was is that something you kind of figure out day one or day two of who you like to eliminate first from your tribe?
Yeah, I think that's something I sort of just go with the majority with.
Mm-hmm.
I think for Joe, I think Joe just did. I don't know. I think she just didn't fit in with everyone, as well as obviously others did, and I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it just felt like Joe was painting herself as first boot. It's hard to say, right? But unfortunately, for people who go first or second, maybe they're not with the majority as much as they're off by themselves, or they're just talking too much. You know what I mean? Just things that aren't even that big of a deal, but you need to find any reason to get rid of the first person. So I think unfortunately Joe just did a few of those things, and people were just getting along better with each other. So I kind of expected her to go first, but I definitely wasn't someone let's get Joe out first. I was sort of just ideally, I was I don't want a woman voted out first. I know a lot of people don't, and I want to be on that ship too. I don't want a woman out first, and I think having one less guy puts me in a more powerful position in my tribe to stay. So I think honestly, I'm happy to do whatever.
So in this case, in retrospect, perfect knowledge, or what would have been your ideal first boot from this tribe?
Probably fucking Charlie. Honestly, it's because I don't know. I love Charlie, but I think I really underestimated him. I really underestimated him, and this is a compliment to Charlie of how well he was positioned socially and strategically in our tribe, and I just severely underestimated him. So ideally, he'd be the first person to go retrospect, because I just could never gauge where his head was at, and he's just he was just a lot more strategic than I gave him credit for. So I think ideally, yeah, probably Charlie. But otherwise, if he's in the game, I did want to work with him. I said to him early days, I knew him, our relationship, we weren't going to be buddy-buddy. We weren't going to be each other's number 1 or 2 or 3. But I said to him, hey, you and I are in a really similar position in our tribe. I feel like we're kind of the two guys who are kind of in the middle, and everyone's getting along with. I said to him, let's just help each other out. Let's not throw each other's names out. Let's just help each other make it through the game. And I think if we can do that, it'll benefit both of our game. So, I wasn't working with Charlie super close, but I definitely had a strategic conversation with him. Just hey, let's just look out for each other.
That night you have the lightning storm of lightning storms. Your tribe, half of the tribe goes to sleep, kind of the deck of the lodge. You're one of 5 people that chooses to stay behind. What was your thought process with that decision?
So I want to play Reelfoot to challenge myself. And I told everyone this throughout my time at the game. Winning Surviving Reelfoot was not my number one goal. Like, I know for a lot of people, winning is everything, but to me, it's really not, because one person's going to win and you're going to have 19 other losers. So my goal coming to Reelfoot was to challenge myself and push my boundaries and, reach my physical and emotional limit, and then go past that and just really test and challenge myself as much as humanly possible. And this was presented on night one, and I said to myself, if I am not willing to face adversity on night one, how can I be okay to face adversity throughout the game? This is my test right now. This is the proof that I need to, have as an example moving forward in the game, to what I'm willing to do, how hard I'm willing to push myself, and how much suffering I'm willing to endure to, challenge myself, become a better person, and really play this game, push myself to the limit. So that was my decision around staying. I'm glad I wasn't the only one that stayed. It definitely helps that there was 5 of us. It was, a good even split of people who wanted to leave. And I'm very grateful to the other 5 people who left, because there was a lot more room in the shelter. And it really allowed us, the 5 of us who stayed out there, to bond and get to know each other more. And that's an experience that I wanted to have. And that's why I want to play Surviving Reelfoot, is for the experience. So that's why I stayed out.
So on the second day, your tribe wins a lot. You win 2 reward challenges. You win your first immunity challenge. This is kind of like, what do you think? Why was your tribe doing so well?
I think, honestly, we just worked well as a tribe. Like, everyone was put in a position where, like, we were like, I feel like for us, compared to the other tribe was fast, and they were fast, but a little inconsistent, and they were a little bit more all over the place, where we were like running a marathon. Like, we were all running together at a good pace, encouraging each other, helping each other out. And people stepped up when they needed to. In the first 3 challenges that we won, we kind of just worked really well together, and everyone was put in a position where they did well. There was no one person who just destroyed this part of the challenge and made up some ground. Like, everyone just did their job, is how I'd look at it. Like, everyone really just did their job. So winning the first 3, I was like, damn, this is fucking awesome. I did not expect to come in here and win 3 in a row. So yeah, super happy that we were able to just go on a winning streak day 2 and just be so happy. There was no, we hadn't eaten any food the first 2 days, basically, because it was still wet and we couldn't get a fire going. So it's like, we, at least when we went back to camp, had something to celebrate, and we had some reward too, which was fantastic.
You mentioned that you really kind of feel like you cemented that alliance and relationship with Trinica over the course of the second night. Were there any other alliances, relationships that you felt kind of really started coming together that second day?
I'm not really too sure. Probably Tony. I don't know how Tony feels about me, but I wanted to get close to Tony. I could tell Charlie was higher on his radar than I was, and Melissa too, but I wanted to be that next person. Mm-hmm. So Tony can have his Charlie and he can have his Melissa, but as long as I'm in his top 3, I'm okay. Because I think Tony was just perceived as, one of the more physically capable guys on our tribe, and he just seemed influential. Everyone loved him. He's such a sweetheart. He's just such a golden boy. Everyone loves Tony. I love Tony. How can you not jump on the Tony bandwagon? If everyone loves Tony, I just want to make sure I love him a little bit more. I always I think I slept next to Tony almost every night, and that was again deliberate. Who you're sleeping with. I wanted to keep Tony warm. I wanted Tony to keep me warm. like especially night 2, I was literally shivering really bad. I don't know if you've heard it from anyone else yet, but again, the clothes that I brought with me, I did the worst job in packing and bringing warm clothes. I might have had the least amount of material around me for the entire game. I was fucking freezing night 2. I was shivering so bad, my whole body was shaking. It was so cold. So I think that also helped everyone like caring, looking after me. Some people were like, I thought you were gonna quit, or that never crossed my mind. I was never quitting, but I was fucking freezing. So I just wanted to make sure I was close to the people who would look after me and would care for me, and like use that to my advantage as much as possible to build bonds with people.
So can you rank that? So this is end of day 2. You've won the first community challenge. No one's going home at the tribal council day 3. Can you rank the players in tribe from most to least important to your game?
Trinica, Melissa, Tony, what's it, Tony? I'm trying to think. I mean, definitely those 3. I don't know who else is there. Like probably.
So the players. So we have Hannah, German, Charlie, Melanie, Danny, and Joe.
Melanie
is 4th.
Probably Charlie, Hannah, German, Danny, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the next day, you lose that immunity challenge. Hannah comes back from the outpost. She tells everyone she has this mutiny advantage. What was your thought about that?
My thought is, hi, Hannah. If I get swap fucked, please play it for me. I'm also like 7th on her list of importance. So my thought process is great. Hannah's got an advantage and she's going to either save herself or Melissa or German. That was my thought. So I was like, because for whatever reason, Hannah did not want to vote German early, which shock horror, found out later. It's because they know each other or whatever. So I was like...
So the question to you, so at what point are you hearing that there are players in your season who have some past game experience? Most of those experiences were broken up between the 2 tribes, but at what point are you learning like, oh, there's survival challenge, oh, there's Outlast?
Like people shared these other games early days, but they didn't share that they had played. I think like probably day 3, day 4. Definitely once we had swapped, I sort of everyone was just sharing their experiences. So yeah, it definitely took a few days for me to find out who was doing what, but yeah, shock horror, finding out Hannah didn't want to vote German like at all, which to everyone else in the tribe was fucking crazy, because I'm like, everyone wants him to go, and she's the only, like, she almost killed her own game because of how unwilling she was to vote German. And I mean, like, it really, you go, okay, well, if Hannah doesn't want to vote German, she's not budging, then maybe we start looking at Hannah. Like, is she someone that people can work with moving forward if she's just not going to budge on doing what other people want to do? But yeah, Hannah comes back with the mutiny thing, and I'm like, that's awesome. That's so cool. Please do not fuck me over with this fucking mutiny, And everyone went to Hannah and, hey, Hannah, please, if it's me who gets swap screwed, please play it for me. Like, you're just trying to build good faith with Hannah. And I was really trying to build a good relationship with Hannah as well, because she's just the type of person that is going to, I think I predicted that she was going to make at least top 7. Doesn't matter what scenario she's in, she's going to make top 7, because everyone loves Hannah. She's good in challenges. She's very sociable, very likable. There's no reason to get rid of her. She wants to work with you. There's literally no reason to want to get her out. The only reason that you'd want to get her out is because, like me, you understand that Hannah is someone that is going to make it really far in the game, and she's going to have her couple of people that she's 100% with. And then if you're not with her 100%. She's kind of like, she can't, like, Hannah just said, oh, like, let's work to, like, she said this to everyone. She's like, let's work together. Let's make the merge. And then if we make it to the merge together, awesome. But if you vote me out, that's okay. And if I vote you out, that's okay. And I'm there like,
not reassuring to hear.
No, but she said that to everyone. Everyone, she was like, oh, if we vote each other out, it's okay. And I'm like, what do you say? Why? But she said it to everyone. And I go talk to Trinica and I'm like, Trinica, like, why did Hannah say this? And Trinica's like, yeah, she said that to me too. I'm like, this is just not smart gameplay at all. It does not make me trust her. The fact that she's like, yeah, like let's help each other get to merge. And then if you vote me out, great, it's okay. I'll still vote for you at the end. And if I vote you out, still vote for me at the end. And I'm like, what the fuck is she saying? Like, what do you mean vote you out? Like, if I say I'm with you, I'm not voting you out. And if you say you're with me, I don't want you to vote me out. So Hannah was just, again, that type of person that, again, I know she's not going to play a mutiny for me. She's going to keep her number ones and her number twos really close. And then everyone else, she kind of like is just, she's just doing the social survivor gameplay where you just sort of smile and wave like the penguins from Madagascar. You just smile and wave like, yeah, you just nod your head, smile. We're on really good terms. I want to work with you, but you know that you're always Hannah's number 5 or 6. Like, it's never going to work.
And she got 6.
Yeah, and again, not shocked at all that she got 6. She's very, very good. A good 6th boot place. Honestly, I probably would have taken her to the end. If it was me, Hannah, I would have taken you to the end and beaten you. But it's okay. Look, I love Hannah. She's the only person I have a little bit of beef with. And it's not beef, like, at all. Like, I love everyone on the cast, and Hannah's an amazing person, but she just rubbed me the wrong way in the game. That's it. So that's, there's no qualms, there's no drama. I genuinely think she's a really lovely person. But in terms of the game of Survivor, she rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. And that's the only reason why I would want to take her to the end and beat her. But otherwise, she's a very good player. So getting rid of her 6th makes sense.
After losing that second immunity challenge, where Joe is inevitably voted, how was the strategy around that vote for you?
I mean, everyone was on the same page. It's the first boot. Yeah, I think everyone was on the same page. We vote Joe. Basically, we tried putting a 6 together consisting of the sexy 6, which was myself, Charlie, Tony, and then Trinica, Melissa, Hannah. So the 6 of us basically got together really, really quick because we were trying to, form a 6 and not be too fucking obvious. Melissa just comes over and says, yep, me, Ethan, and Tony, we're voting Danny. Everyone else is voting Joe. Moving on. See you guys later. And, I was fine with it. I'm fine with it. But at the same time, I don't want to be the person voting Danny. I want to be the person voting Joe. So, but as long as I keep Melissa happy, I'm okay. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I don't remember. But that's basically all that happened. The first vote was, people are just sussing out. Like, I feel like everyone sort of had their first, like, it was kind of Joe, then kind of Danny, and then kind of German. And the reason being, like, Danny and German just, like, slept in the shelter a lot. They were socialized the least. And then day 3, German, like, wakes up out of his, like, sleeping beauty slumber and just, like, all of a sudden is the most social person I've ever seen. And, like, he really gets in everyone's good books within, like, an hour. Because I'm sleeping at this point. It was too cold night 2 to sleep. So I maintained the fire all night. And then I slept for about an hour in the morning. And apparently that 1 hour that I slept, German just, like, did the rounds. And everyone's like, yeah, German's good now. And I'm like, what the fuck has happened? He just didn't talk for 2 days. And then he's talked for an hour. And everyone's like, yeah, I kind of like him. Like, keep him around. I'm like, okay, whatever. So, Joe and Danny, I think, especially with Danny and German, just, like, sleeping a lot more, like, just not being in the group to socialize.
Well, for the Steal the Bacon challenge, who'd you end up going against?
Steal the Bacon. Okay. I went up against Blake. And that was the hardest fucking challenge of my life. Like Blake is strong. Like Blake is strong. And when I went up against Blake, like I think I went 3 times and I lost 2 out of 3. The first time I went, I didn't understand the rules.
Mhm.
And I thought it was his first person to touch the medicine ball would then basically be in control. The other person would have to step back behind the line.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case. So I went and like dived and like just touched it to like gain control because that's why I misunderstood. And then I think Blake got it and ran back and I lost. So then when we rematched and went again, I was definitely doubting myself. Like, okay, I've already lost once to Blake. I don't know if I can't lose again. But this time I understood, okay, I've got to beat him to the ball and then I've got to get control. Like I've got to grab it and be in control. Blake and I had like a fierce fucking battle. Like we were army crawling to the mat and like again, he's really strong and like you've got to be on the ground holding a 10-pound medicine ball while like carrying someone on your back to just move inch by inch. Like that shit is not easy. That was by far the most exhausting, the most like physical amount of stress I've put my body under. I'm fucking like it's day. I don't know what day this challenge is. Day 3 or something. Yeah. So like I'm exhausted. I've slept like 2 hours total. I've had almost no food. Like this challenge was severe. This challenge was like 10 out of 10 difficulty. And to go up against Blake made it really, really hard. I was really proud that I won. I did so well to win and get a point. And it was so hard. And I was so exhausted. Yeah, I thought I was going to die. Like that challenge was fucked. That challenge was fucked. It was so hard. But I'm glad I went against Blake and had a good battle. And yeah.
So you lose this immunity challenge. Despite having voted Danny the prior tribal council, there ends up not being repercussions because Danny brings the tribe together and says, "I'd like you to vote me out."
Yeah. The next play, as I said before, it was going to be Joe, Danny, then German. And now this is where it gets fucking crazy. I don't remember. I don't remember if we've skipped this part yet, but we lost an individual immunity challenge and then had to go to tribal the next morning.
Yes. So this is going to be the gross food challenge. It's the final immunity challenge.
Okay, great. Yep. Okay, cool. Thank you for telling me where we're at. Okay, we can get to that bit in a second then. For this one, it was, German was definitely the vote. We were going to split on German and Melanie, and I wanted Melanie around and I wanted German gone because my working relationship with Melanie was good and I had no working relationship with German.
Mm-hmm.
And on the Joe vote where we were splitting votes on Danny, I was like the first person to have a conversation with German that round. And I let German do the talking, and German was like, "Yeah, I'm down to to vote Danny or whatever." I'm like, "Yeah, cool." And I just went to everyone else, like, "Yep." I spoke to German. German's down to vote Danny, and then it got back around to German, and German was told that like I had told everyone that like German was controlling the vote.
Bless you.
Sorry, I tried muting. I couldn't find it fast enough. Sorry.
I can try to edit this out later.
It's okay. So yeah, and it got back around to German that apparently I was telling everyone that he was like in control of the vote and he was making the decision, which was just not true at all. I was just like, yep, I had a conversation with German. He agrees the same that I agree, and so everyone agrees that, yeah, Danny's the backup or whatever, and that's all good. And the perception gets back to him that I'm going around telling everyone that he's in control. And it could kind of tell again with German He's the type of guy where, we're gonna be like nice to each other. Like we didn't have a great working relationship in terms of the game, but you're bad. Yeah, thanks, Trinica. Thanks a lot. Just ruined a perfectly good relationship. And he's the type of guy that, like, okay, I'm saying his name to everyone. Why would he not want to vote me out? Like, why would I not be a threat to him now? And it's just a complete lie. Like, I did not do that at all. So that's why I wanted German out a lot more than I wanted Melanie out. The only reason I wanted Melanie out is because she kept bringing up advantages. She kept being like, I want to go to the outpost and get an advantage. We kept talking about if we get comfort, if we get food, if we get an advantage. All Melanie would talk about is an advantage. So I'm like, okay, Melanie goes to the outpost. She says there was no advantage there. Did not believe her at all. Did not believe her. And she was telling the truth. She was telling the truth. There was no advantage there, but she had been talking for 3 days about an advantage. And, that's just sending the alarm bells off in my head. Like she has to go. But German, I had no relationship with, and Melanie, I did. So for that vote, I wanted German gone. And the plan going into the vote was to be a 5-3 or something. I don't know what the plan was. The plan was for German to go home, and then he yoinks the scroll out from Melanie as she's going for it at Tribal Council, and just like honestly, fair play to German. Like fair play. Like he ran, dove for it, and grabbed it. Like this is Survivor. Like you can't just expect, oh, I see something, I'm gonna go walk and get it, and then everyone else is just gonna be okay with you just doing that. Like he was like, no, I'm getting that, and fair play. He saved himself. He was going if he didn't do that. So yeah, fair play to German. Fair play to Charlie for flipping his vote and keeping German in.
The $1 million question.
Yeah.
Is how did you vote this Tribal Council?
I have no idea how I voted. I thought I voted German, but maybe I voted Melanie. Maybe I was one of the people. Again, I think I might have been one of the people who was told that I was splitting my vote, that I was going to be voting the incorrect person. I was going to be voting the backup option. But I remember sitting there after Tribal, and German was like, who voted for me? Who voted for me? And I remember sitting there like, I did, but I'm not saying anything. So I don't know who I voted for. I don't know.
We need the episodes.
All I know is that I voted the way I was told to vote. That's all I remember is the plan. That we had a plan, and I was just being a good boy, and I was just going with the plan. And all I wanted to do early was just do as my told, and just let the people who wanted to be in power, and just be really well behaved, and just do as my told and go with the flow. So all I know is I did my job. I did not flip my vote to what I said I was going to do. I did not change it. I did not do shit. I voted the way I said I was going to vote, and I don't remember which way that was. But I did what I was told. So I'm sorry, you're gonna have to wait for the footage. I really don't remember who I voted for.
Quick questions. Lydia would like to ask: was the gross food challenge your favorite challenge?
I fucking hate gross food. It's the worst challenge of all time. I have a fear of throwing up. So you will never see me win that challenge. I attempted the baby food that was like rice or something. Disgusting. Yeah. Trinica ate my leftovers. She fucking ate my leftovers.
And then regretted it too, because then she was too full.
Yeah, it was disgusting. That was terrible. So that was my least favorite challenge. Thank you, Lydia. My favorite challenge was probably.
Ooh, no, don't say that yet, because I'll ask you this at the episode. So we'll save that. So Melanie is voted out 5-3. What is your reaction following this Tribal Council? Are you just like, what just happened?
This is my reaction. What the fuck just happened? Because it was supposed to be a tie. It was supposed to be a tie 4-4 because on the revote we're going to vote German. That's basically what the discussion was around at Tribal. We'd changed who we were like the votes at Tribal. So shocked, and then Charlie again. I don't know if he was in drama as a kid or if he went to acting school, or what. Charlie, this is my point to, like, if I could, he'd be my first person gone, because severely underestimated. He's crying, he's in shock, he's in tears, he's upset, he voted the wrong person, he made a mistake, he didn't mean to vote Melanie, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then again, I'm using this to my advantage. Like, okay, Charlie's upset. Obviously, on a human level, I want to make sure he's okay. But in terms of the game, this also does help me, because let me help you while you're down. Then hopefully this builds more bonds. Like, I went to Charlie, like, it's all good. Like, it's okay. Like, it's all, you made a mistake. It's all good. And then I went and talked to Trinica. I'm like, okay, there's 3 things that happened here. 1, he's fucking lying. He's a liar. And he's got me real good. He got me real good. 2, it was an accident. It was like, 1, he's lying. He did it on purpose. 2, it's an accident. And he just genuinely made a mistake and he didn't mean to. There was a 3rd one. I forgot. But it was like, okay, do you either think he did it on purpose or it was an accident? And I'm like, 100% it was an accident. 100%. There's no way he did this shit on purpose. And Trinica's like, I kind of think he did it on purpose. I'm like, no, there's no way. He's crying. He's so upset. He's like bawling. He's ugly crying. And obviously find out later, he did it on purpose. And I'm like, whoa. He like emotionally manipulated our whole fucking tribe. He like gaslit me.
When do you find out that no, he actually did it on purpose?
Like day 6 or something. Like day set, like really late into the game. Like you find out, and like my whole reality, my whole perception of Charlie just like cracked, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like he made, like, to me, it didn't make sense. Like he made this big move early, and like went against his like everyone in the tribe except German, I guess. German and Hannah, again, they've got their, weird little Outlast thing going, so fair enough. And I don't know why he wanted to join the Hannah German special. He could have just stuck with us. He would have been on the bottom, so to speak, but it wouldn't have made a difference because he would have made it to merge and been in a really good position. So, but fair play to Charlie.
Had this tribe gone to no tribal council, what would you like to have seen happen?
If we had gone to what, sorry?
One more tribal council, who would you like to vote out?
Well, apparently my name was out there, which I only found out when I was hanging out with Melissa in real life, which was like 5-6 weeks after the game. I had no idea, but because of German finding out that I was throwing his name out, which again was not true, thanks Trinica. My number 1, again, ruining my game. Yeah, thanks, Trinica. God, I tried choosing my number 1, and Trinica, like, she doesn't care about me. She doesn't. I'm joking.
I think she does. I think her.
No, I know she does. I know she does. I'm just joking. But if we'd gone again, oh my God, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Again, like my name was out there, which I didn't realize. I had no working relationship with German at all, because after that challenge, after that vote, we're all idol hunting like crazy, and I'm the person who's stalking German. I'm fucking trailing him, because I'm like, if he finds it, I at least want to know. So German did not like me. I was 100% on German's hit list, like number 1 hit list. Didn't really have any working relationship with Hannah. Charlie, again, was low down on the working relationship. And then I just had me, Trinica, Tony, and Melissa. So I would hope that but Melissa said she wouldn't do me. Tony said he didn't care. Fuck you, Tony. Tony was just like, oh, as long as it's not me, sort of thing. And Melissa was like, no, Tony, not as long as it's not you, because it can't also be Ethan. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah. So I don't know what Tony's doing. But but Melissa was like, you can't vote out Ethan. You need him in the game. He's also a physical threat. You need to, if you're the only like big boy on the, big physical threat on our tribe, like that is not good, especially going into the merge. Melissa's like, you need Ethan around. So I think if we had lost again, I don't know. I really don't know. I want to say German, but maybe Charlie or Hannah. I'm hoping it's one of those three. If it's one of those three, I'm happy.
Okay. Well, we'll never know because you have
No.
reached the swap. And
Yay.
so this swap, it's a little bit of a precarious swap. So you stay on Okina. You're with the green people. You swap with Melissa and Trinica, both players that you are at this point working closely with.
That was good. That was good.
You receive Carl, Jordan, Matty P, and Jeff from the non-Conan tribe. What was your thought about this group of people, and how did you feel in this?
My thought was I'm positioned in the fucking perfect position right now. The perfect position because I'm in a minority. However, Matt will not vote me out. That was my mentality. Matt will not vote me out. Not at least before Trinica and Melissa. Not before I'm at least the last green standing. Mm-hmm. And I had challenge leverage to my name. I'd be like, hey, we want to win challenges. Again, I wasn't that good at our earlier challenges. Like, I really wasn't. But I can be like, I'm really good at challenges. I can just be like, yeah, I'm good at challenge. I'm good at throwing. I'm good at tossing. I'm good at running. I'm good at swimming.
You're good at throwing challenges?
I'm good at throwing challenge. Like, I can do anything that we need. Like, so I felt like, honestly, I was like, even though we're in the minority, I feel like I'm in a good position. Jeff, I was in the car with Jeff from Nashville. So I was with him for about 5 hours on the day before the game. And wow, yeah. I liked him. And Jeff immediately started talking about keeping the challenge threats around for merge. Because obviously, if he makes a merge, he's a big boy. So he's a challenge threat. So if I look at his best interest, he needs me around. So not only will Matt not vote me out, Jeff needs me around. I don't know Carl and I don't know Jordan. However, like, it seems like I'm positioned in a really good spot. This, like, I don't know. My loyalty to Matt, I made a few emotional decisions at Tribe Swap. Strategic decisions. So basically, as you know, Stephen, Carl comes to ask to Melissa, and basically he wants to flip. And Melissa is 100% certain that Carl's flipping. I'm like, okay, Carl's flipping. Now we have the majority, and I believe Carl's flipping too. So what do? I fuck a good thing that I had going for myself. I fucked it. I go to Matt. I said, Matt, I have to tell you the truth. I can't blindside you because he's my boy in real life. And this is what's happening. And this is going to shock you because you think that you guys have the majority, but you don't. Okay? Carl has flipped. He's coming with us greens. We're voting Jeff. Okay? You're going to get shoved into the minority. But I'm like, you just have to let it happen. I'm like, don't tell Jordan or Jeff. I'm just telling you because I don't want you to be blindsided, but do not tell them. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to go with you and bring Trinica with me, and we're going to blindside Melissa.
At this vote.
I said, but do not tell them. Yeah, I know. I know. Again, not smart. Because all I had to do was not tell Matt anything and then just go to Trinica and say, hey, let's just vote out Melissa. And we just blindside Melissa. And, I could have still done what I wanted to do without telling Matt. And then what does Matt do? Fucking tells them. Tells Jordan, tells Jeff, and blows the whole shit up. Oh, my God. So fucking frustrating. And then that was we get there, us green being the minority, and the pink sinking, the three other pink sinking, it's going to be a really easy vote. Shit went crazy. I immediately went into the swing vote position with Trinica. And everyone and this shit blew up about 10 minutes before we had to leave for tribal. Conversations are flying, everyone's panicked. Jeff is fucking freaking out. And I said to Jeff, Jeff, I need you around at merge as much as you need me, because you're a challenge threat, and you being in the game helps me, and me being in the game helps you. Okay, let's think logically. We're good. Jeff, please fucking trust me. I'm voting Melissa. Do not play your advantage. Do not play your shot in the dark. Do not do anything. Do not I know it's hard. You have to trust me. Chill the fuck out. Please. You're going to... And again, I don't want to tell him that Melissa has an idol, because I know Melissa has an idol because she told us. And I said, I felt the idol. I asked Melissa, I'm like, can I see it? And she said, no. I'm like, can I feel it? She said, yes. So I felt the idol. I'm like, okay, she has an idol. Because she can tell me she has an idol, but I need to see it or feel it to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know she has an idol. So I'm like, the only way to blindside Melissa with an idol in her pocket, which again is fucking crazy, but the only way to do it is for Jeff to be cool, calm, collected. Don't play an advantage. Don't freak out, Melissa. Just chill. Trust that I've got your back. And just fucking believe in me, because you have nothing else. And a shot in the dark with 1 in 7 chance is fucking stupid. 1 in 7 chance to be safe. It's the risk versus reward. And again, I'm pleading to Jeff, do not play an advantage. He plays his fucking shot in the dark. Melissa plays an idol. Kyle freaks out, plays an idol. I voted Melissa. And then after that happened, I'm like, fuck. Jeff now has no vote. There's only 6 votes. I voted Melissa. I'm fucked. She's safe. Fuck. And then, yeah. And then I'm fucked.
So, well, I want to unpack some things here. You mentioned, I played more emotion than I wanted. Was the emotion the flipping on Melissa, or was the emotion telling Matt?
The emotion was telling Matt, because he's my boy. I can't blindside him. I love him to death. That was an emotional decision. Strategically, I should have just not told him shit, gone to Trinica, flipped on Melissa. I still could have flipped on Melissa. I just needed to not tell Matt.
In terms of flipping on Melissa, you already mentioned Melissa already its threats, right? And you know she's going to be a problem down the line. You've been working close to her. Why was this the right time?
Yeah, I think you're hitting a good point. I think, again, also an emotional decision, because I would not have flipped on Melissa if Matt wasn't there. If Matt is not in the tribe, I'm sticking with my greens. I'm going with Carl. I'm getting in the majority. I'm not throwing away everything that I've built in the first 3 days to jump on ship with someone else, because I had a good thing going. But the thing is, Melissa scared me. And I was actually, even though I was working really close with her, I think I panicked and made a big move too early and freaked out a little bit, because I was quite stressed. And in my head, I'm like, Melissa's a big threat. She's such a game player. She's a big game player. She has to go. And I'm like, fuck it. Let's just take the swing now. But yeah, that was an emotional decision too. So telling Matt and working with Matt against Melissa and against my alliance was definitely an emotional decision. Strategically, it made a lot more sense for me to just go with Carl, Melissa, and Trinica and just vote off Jeff. And then I have Matt and Trinica. Then I have Matt and Trinica. We can vote out Jordan next, and then I have Matt and Trinica. And then we can get rid of Carl or Melissa. Regardless, Matt's fine, and that's what I care about. I know Matt's come from Australia. I know he wants to make merge as badly as I do. He's my boy. And I told Trinica about our relationship, so she knew. So ultimately, strategically, we get rid of Jeff. Melissa keeps the idol. I keep my relationships good with her. We get rid of Jordan next, and then we go down to 5, and then I'm still in the majority, whether I'm with Trinica and Melissa, or whether I'm with Trinica and Matt, and we get rid of either Melissa or Carl. And regardless, whichever way you look at it, strategically, I'm still in a very good spot in our merge. Whereas I made an emotional decision, completely fucked myself, and got moved straight to the bottom of the tribe.
What one other wrinkle to the whole Lance and Melissa is you know Melissa's an idol. You have felt the idol.
I don't know,
Were
man.
you just confident like she thinks it's Jeff? She's not gonna play it.
Yeah. I just felt as long as Jeff didn't play anything, she wouldn't have played it. That's how I felt. I felt as long as Jeff doesn't do fucking anything, Melissa will feel like she's safe and she'll go home with an idol in her pocket. That'll be my one big move. Then we have an idol back at camp. I'll go find that shit. Like, I was like, big move, pre-merge, idols back in the game. Hopefully I can find it this time. Like, then literally my resume's done. All I had to do then was just fucking chill. Like, all I had to do was literally just chill the fuck out and just, pave my way further into the game. But yeah, honestly, I felt like if Jeff hadn't played his shot in the dark, she wouldn't have played her idol. So
let's do a hypothetical.
Let's blame Jeff.
Let's say Melissa does go home with the idol in her pockets. Who would be the next person you want to vote out? You'd have Carl, Jordan, Maddie, Trinica, and Jeff with you.
Great question. I don't know. Probably Carl, I'd say, would go next because Matt is close with Jordan and I'm close with Trinica, but I also want Jeff around because he's more of a merge threat than I am. And I would have more of a working relationship with Jeff than I would Carl, especially after lying to Carl and voting out Melissa after he's exploded his own game to flip from pink to green. And, now he's completely on the bottom of not only both pink, but also the green too, because he betrays pink, but then the green betrays him. So he's kind of left on the outs. So Carl would be the first person. And then the second person would either be between Jeff or Jordan. It would basically just be up to me, Trinica, and Matt. I reckon it would probably be Jeff because I know Matt has a better working relationship with Jordan, and I have a good working relationship with Trinica. And I feel, well, it's better to have a good 4-person relationship with, Jeff, myself, Trinica, Matt, and Jordan. The 4 of us would be tight as fuck. Whereas if we vote off Jordan, then we've kind of got Jeff, who, again, like Trinica is sort of about Jeff. Matt is sort of about Jeff. You know what I mean? So I'd rather have, even though I want Jeff around at merge, I'd rather have a tighter 4 than just keep him around at merge. And he'd just flip back to his fucking, he's
there is some fallout after this tribal council.
Is there? What happens? Which one? There's a lot of fallout.
I think everyone's losing. It sounds like everyone loses their minds after this tribal council.
Oh, yeah. I was freaking out. You could see how stressed and how anxious I was after this vote, knowing that I just tried blindsiding Melissa and it completely failed. Like because she was celebrating, right? But after this tribal, Melissa is so happy. I did it. Yay. Successful idol play. I didn't go home. We did it, guys. We got the numbers. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, I just tried voting her out. Like, I failed. So she's so over the moon. She has no idea that I've just tried voting her out. And then she's like, why are you acting like this? Why are you not happy? Like, why are you not? And I'm so bad. It was just written all over my face. She was like so confused why I wasn't happy. And then, we sit down and she thinks about the votes and she's like, oh, okay. Well, either Ethan or Trinica voted for me. So I'm like, and I talked to Trinica, I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Because Trinica was supposed to vote Melissa, but changed it to Jeff at Tribal. So she was fine. So I was like, I talked to Trinica, you have to tell her. You just have to tell her. You have to come clean. So I came clean, and yeah, it was a lot to be dealing with. It was very emotional.
Well, the fun doesn't stop because at the next challenge you have the
God.
Maker.
Oh my God, that fucking fuckfest. That was a fiesta.
Were you expecting that to happen?
No, I was so shocked. Jordan leaving, that was pretty she said she was debating whether she should leave or stay. And one thing I didn't get was Matt. Matt was encouraging her to leave, which in my head was stupid because if there's no Jordan there, she's next boot on our tribe 1,000%. Even though I have blindsided Melissa and tried, like, she was still someone who would go next. And for Matt to be like, yeah, you like mutiny over, leave me, I'll be okay. I'm like, no, Matt, no, you need her around so that we can vote her out if we lose a challenge. So that shocked me that he was encouraging her to leave. Obviously, I was encouraging her to stay. And then Tony mutinies her, and then Hannah gives Melissa. So Hannah's on pink, gives Melissa on green the mutiny because Hannah thinks that Melissa wants to mutiny over to pink, but she doesn't. She then gives the mutiny to Tony, and then Tony mutinies over to green, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And now, great, this is good and bad. Yay, I've got Tony around, awesome, but bad because Tony is closer with Melissa and he will 100% side with Melissa. And then 20 minutes into us going back to our tribe, I find out that Carl and Tony know each other. So I'm like, oh, even fucking better. Not only is Tony coming over, he's 100% going to side with Melissa, but he also knows Carl. And Melissa and Carl just voted together, and Carl flipped on his pinks to gain trust. So I just knew out of the six of us, Tony, Melissa, Carl were 100% solid. 100% solid. So I was like, fuck, this has just put me in a bad position, the tribe.
So you end up winning the next 3 immunity challenges.
Thank God.
I know,
oh
right?
God.
If we were on the non-con, you to vote 3 people out, it wouldn't have looked so pretty.
No. It would have been fucking Matt, me, and Trinica would have gone.
So you win the next 3 challenges in a row. What are you doing in this meantime? Like what's the work you're putting in?
Yeah, honestly, the 6 of us are just building strong. Like Matt is so fun to be around. Everyone loves Matt. He's so funny at camp. He's so goofy and silly. Everyone loves Matt. We're just chatting. We're chilling. We're like amping each other up for the next challenge. We were 100%. I was 100% focusing on winning challenges because I knew that if we lost, it was between me or Matt. Mm-hmm. So I kind of was in the position where I kind of had to do damage control, and I was really trying to work Tony as much as I could, as much as humanly possible. Like Tony was the person I had to try and just get on my side as much as possible because Melissa, like, yes, I had to keep rebuilding with Melissa, and we definitely did that. Melissa and I definitely rebuilt our relationship, but I knew that if we lost, it wouldn't matter. So every single challenge, I went 110%. Like the first one was the crate challenge. I went with Matt because I said, okay, out of everyone on our tribe, I need to rely on Matt the most because him and I are in the worst position in our tribe. Mm-hmm. And if they want to throw it and lose the challenge, they can do that. But I need to be Matt, and I have to win this challenge for us. So that's why I went with Matt on the the crate challenge where you have to hold it up with your legs and they add beanbag weight or something to it. Mm-hmm. Because I just knew that there was losing was not an option. It was not an option. So an endurance challenge, a whole tribe fucking smashes it. We felt so good. So happy we won that. And then the next challenge was, I don't remember the next challenge. I remember
the next challenge was the hot pursuit.
Oh, it was hot pursuit? Okay. And again, like, oh my fucking God. Stephen, you have no idea how good it felt when they were explaining, like they were telling us about hot pursuit, to just look over at the other tribe and know that they had lost already. Like they looked defeated. Like when they were when they were talking about it's an endurance strength challenge, and you've got like we have 4 guys on our tribe, and we have Melissa and Trinica. Like, it was done. It was done. Like, the other tribe knew they were losing. We knew we were winning, and we made it. Like, we mentally had the edge on them, and we definitely played into. Like, I definitely played into having the mental edge in winning that challenge. Like, I was like out loud, like, we got this. It's 100% our challenge. There's no way they're winning. Like, I was very verbally and very deliberately getting inside the other tribe's head, and they looked defeated. They looked straight away, and I'm like, guys, they're defeated. They already think they've lost. Like, and that was a hard fucking challenge. It was a really hard challenge, but I knew we had that challenge. I knew it, so I was like, yes. A challenge that we will win. So I do not want to lose, and I do not want to have to vote out Matt. I do not want to have to go there. So again, we win the challenge. We're just building our bonds. We're the conversation's like, okay, when is merge? You know, like, we win another challenge, and it's like we're at 12 or 11 or something, and we're like we started with 20 fucking people. Like, when are we merging? Like, every challenge we rock up to, and they read us a challenge instead of tell us we're merging, we're like, what the fuck? Like, how are we not merging yet? So yeah, couldn't be more happy to win that challenge, and so happy that it was another endurance challenge.
So you eventually lose the challenge with the swim out, get the fish puzzle pieces, come back and do the puzzle.
Yeah, this is Trinica's favorite challenge, by the way. Trinica loves this challenge.
It was her favorite. Talk me about the strategy coming back after this challenge. So like who are you targeting? Is it simply anyone but me? It seems like there's more than that going on here.
So I'm going to touch briefly on the challenge. Again, same thing. I knew that if we didn't win, it was between me or Matt. So I worked my fucking ass off to win the challenge. I did half the swimming in terms of, yeah, okay, Tritica, whatever. You did one slide puzzle. No one can.
What do you know?
I know I can't do a slide puzzle, so it's a fair comment to be. It's fair to Trinica. But I did half the swimming. We had to swim 12 times. I did 6, and I also did the most distance. So I went to the furthest ones away. And, you know, it's hard because the other tribe is looking at me swim 6 fucking times, and they're like, who is this guy? He's a fucking challenge threat, which I had no choice but to do. I didn't want to look like a challenge threat, but I couldn't afford to lose. We lose the fucking challenge because, like, we just lose. Like, their tribe was just better at untying knots, and they were pretty consistent in terms of the swimming. So, fair enough. I basically just get back. I'm like, guys, like, I really don't want it to be me, but, and this is strategy. This is strategy. Me just being like, I know you guys don't want to, but I understand if it's me. I don't want it to be me. And everyone's like, no, it's fine. Like, and again, this is just me being strategic. Like, I wanted people to come and talk to me and be like, it's not you. Like, I wanted to give more people a reason to reassure me. That's what I was trying to do by doing that. I wanted people to come to me and feel like they had to reassure that it wasn't me. That was my goal with being like, I don't want it to be me. I understand, I might get some votes. Like just being like, like, I can understand. I'm sorry, Melissa. Again, I don't blame you. That's like, but I want to work with you. Like, I want to move forward. I just wanted people to reassure me and feel like they had to sort of almost like gain my trust, which makes no sense, right? But that's what I wanted them to do. But I knew it was between me and Matt, and my only play was to go to Trinica and be like, hey, let's fucking tie the vote. You, me, and Matt will vote Carl. Let's split the vote 3-3. Let's go to Rocks. Let's do it. And I basically told everyone I was not writing Matt's name down. I just wasn't going to do it. And again, an emotional decision. Like this motherfucker is lucky to have me. He's lucky. Matt is lucky to have me. Someone so willing to stick up for him and not write his name down. So he should be counting his blessings. No, I'm joking. No, but
sharing some of those winnings.
Yeah, Exactly. You should be sharing some of his winnings. Like, you should be taking me out for dinner or something. No, but yeah, I wasn't really willing to write his name down. He's my boy. Everyone knew that. And ultimately, the decision's between me and Matt, and they vote Matt, and I get blindsided because Trinica had promised me that she was going to split the vote and vote Carl, and it was going to be 3-3. And she blindsided me again. So that's the second time that Trinica had completely blindsided her closest ally. And I just went crawling back to her.
So question for you. You're going to split the vote, and then are you going to force a rock draw?
I'm convinced Melissa and Tony were not going to go to rocks for Carl. That was the play. The play was strong arm Melissa and Tony, and it's them. I'm like, I'll fucking go to rocks. I will go to rocks, and I was down to go to rocks too. Like, I know it's dumb, but I was like, fuck it, I'm down, because if we lose again, it's me next. It is 100% me next, so I have to. And Matt would have to go to rocks for me, and I'd have to go to rocks for him. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, there's no way Melissa or Tony are willing to take a 1 in 4 chance of being voted out pre-merge to save Carl. There's just no way. So the play was to strong arm them into voting off Carl on the revote and not going to rocks. And I'm 100%. I talked to them after. They said they would have, but I still want to stick by the fact that they wouldn't have gone to rocks for Carl. The thing is, with Trinica, she made a strategic and a logical decision to me, which was to vote out Matt. And after this, obviously I was blindsided, but I'm a very logical person. Like, obviously I don't vote sometimes logically. Like, sometimes I make emotional decisions, but I understand people's logic very well. So I said, well, honestly, it kind of makes sense that Trinica would vote out Matt. She's not ruining her relationships with Carl, Tony, and Melissa moving forward. She's not having to take a risk to go to rocks. Like, honestly, it makes sense for her to do that. So after this vote, even though she lied to me and blindsided me, it still made sense why she did it. So I was like, Trinica, I understand why you did it. I don't have any ill will. I don't blame you. I think that was a strategically smart move. Like, let's just keep moving forward together.
With Matt and he being voted out, you're now in the final 10, and you are now going to merge after 2 players come back in the game. What 2 players did you want to see come back into the game?
So Matt is a mixed bag for me. Matt being gone freed up my game a lot. And I think even Trinica and even Melissa, I think both of them might have said that to me. Like, Matt being not in the game meant that I didn't have any emotional ties to anyone left. I think other than maybe Trinica, because she's my girl, I don't know if I would. If I was going to vote her out, it would have been somewhere around 5, probably 5 or 6. Like, if I got that far.
That sounds like the Hannah method.
Yeah, just like take my ride or die as far as I can, and then cut her before the end. But because I think she beats me, and she's a fucking Trinica. It's because you're such a good talker. You think like I'm gonna beat you at the end? No, you need to go.
You have the accent.
Yeah, but it's Trinica. She could be a lawyer if she wanted to. Like, she speaks so eloquently. She speaks so well. She's so convincing. And I know how ruthless and how good Trinica is. Like, Trinica, again, has shared everything with me. She's won orgs, and I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, you can tell. Like, you can tell she's won orgs. Like, you can tell what sort of strategic player she is. And her game, again, hypothetical, but her game would have been better than mine. So for me, she would have had to have gone later in the game. So that not only I could differentiate my game from her, but also have a chance to win at the end. But yeah, so Matt being gone really freed up my game. So it was a really mixed bag. I wanted Matt to come back because I love him and he's my mate, and I want to see him make the merge. But I also didn't want him to come back because I knew if he comes back, then I'm sort of stuck in this spot of, he's my boy. Like, can I vote him out? Can I not? Obviously, him and Shauna came back, which was actually really good because Matt had told me about his relationship with Shauna and that Shauna was basically his number one. So if anyone was going to come back into the game with Matt, it would be Matt's number one, which now gives me more of an incentive to want to work with Matt. Because not only if I come and work with Matt, I'm also working with Shauna. So it means that like I have more options and there's more people that want to work with me too. So I was happy that Matt and Shauna came back. And in my head, I'm like, great. These are two people that I absolutely want to work with moving forward in the game, and I want to create a new alliance with. I don't want to be stuck with fucking Melissa and Tony. I want Melissa gone. I want Melissa gone because it's either she cuts me or I cut her. That's how I was looking at that. So I wanted Melissa gone. So I was very happy that both of them came back, but still a mixed bag of not feeling amazing that Matt came back because it, again, made my options a little bit more limited because I was emotional. I was like, okay, Matt's my boy. You know, on the hierarchy, he's back up here. You know, Trinika's back to second. You know, like, whereas if he's not in the game, it's like, okay, Trinika's my number one, and then I don't care. Trinika's my number. She's the only person that I won't vote out. Obviously, until like
until 5
or 6. Yeah, until she has to go, and then everyone else, I don't care. I'm in a good position. I'll just fucking float. Like a merge for me, I wasn't perceived as a massive threat. I was sort of just a low to medium threat, which was perfect. And then obviously I go and win 2 fucking challenges, but we can get to that.
So before we get in the merge, I want to hear, what was your game plan coming into the merge? You kind of talked a little about, but what did you want to do at merge?
Well, what I wanted to do at merge was lower my threat level and like be seen as someone that people could beat at the end and then get to the final 3 and fucking obliterate whoever was next to me at the final 3. That was the plan. The plan was make it to merge, stick with my alliance, which meant the swapped green. I was going to still stick with Melissa and Carl, even though I don't trust these people, but it was only going to be for 1 or 2 votes just to get the numbers. Then I would flip, switch, fucking do whatever I needed to do to then get out players like Melissa and Tony, and then players like Shauna because she's a bigger threat, and German. Like there was so many big threats in this game. It was perfect for my gameplay. It was perfect because I'm often perceived as a big threat. So for me to be surrounded by players who were big threats, it set me up really nice. It just sucked I didn't get in the numbers early in the merge. That was the only downfall, was not being in the majority. But that was the game plan.
If the game plan is I'm going to go with my this swap tribe, the Musty Misfits, who would you want to pull in? Was there anyone you're going to focus on?
So it depends who came back, right? Like, like we wanted Melanie to come back. You know, Melanie would have been close to Tony. She would have worked with us. We wanted people who we think Blake would have come back and worked with us. We were really just hoping that whoever came back would be willing to work with us. And it was Matt and Shauna, which was like the 2 people who were least likely to work with us. So yeah.
So the merge begins. You have the merge fees. How are things going?
Good. Yeah, meeting Kiri for the first time, meeting Sandra, meeting a few people, having fun, eating fucking shit ton of food. You know, keeping my eye out on advantages or anything there. But it's just stress. Like now, you know, pre-merge was crazy. Like that was the most crazy pre-merge I've probably like ever seen of any game. Like it was just insane. Some emotional decisions definitely helped in the creating of a chaotic pre-merge. So definitely sorry and not sorry at the same time. But I think merge, I was really just like, I'm like, okay, I just need to use my social ability, create some new, like I really wanted to get into a new alliance. I really wanted to create a new alliance from like both tribes. Yeah, so that was sort of my plan. And I just wanted to, work with new people. You know, I didn't want to be at the bottom of the swapped green. So
that first immunity challenge, it's simple and straightforward. Just stand on this, stand here as long as you can over the course of the night, and the last one standing wins. My understanding is a lot of people in your merge tribe decide to step off and not bother. But you
that was smart.
are one of the people that stick it out. Why?
Again, an emotional decision. Again, for me, Reelfoot is about challenging myself. And I'm like, I don't need this immunity. I don't. I did not need the immunity. But I really wanted it. And I wanted to challenge myself more. And the game is presenting me with a challenge to push my limits, to see how far. It's a testament of will. Like, this challenge is a testament of who can back themselves the most, who has the most determination, who has the most will, who's the most who's the last person to break. And for me, that's why I came to Reelfoot to do, was to test myself against other people and be like, I'm playing a game with fucking ruthless, strategic fucking gods of Survivor. Can I outwill these people? How far can I push myself? And that's what I wanted to do. And that's ultimately why I tried. That's why I went for the win. That's why I like it wasn't filmed, this challenge, very much, because it was, it started at 11 something p.m. and ended at 3:30 a.m. or whatever. But towards the end, I was hallucinating. I was literally hallucinating. I was tripping balls. Like, I was so tired. I had a bit of rope that I had just had in my pocket, and I was using it to hit myself to stay awake. It's like pinching yourself, right? It's like that little bit of pain just like shocks you and like keeps you awake. And I was so tired that I had basically, like, I'd close my eyes and then I'd open them again, and I was just like tripping balls. Like, I was literally hallucinating. Like, the first few hours are easy. Like, they were pretty easy. I was awake. I was exhausted, but I was awake. And then as we get to, I don't know how long I was hallucinating for. It could have been 5 minutes or an hour. But I closed my eyes again and fell asleep, and my legs caught myself from falling. Like, my legs, like my body, like, fell asleep. And as I'm like falling, my legs, I like catch myself. So it's just like, it's just a testament of wills, and that's why I wanted to stay out there and win, because I wanted to prove to myself that I had what it takes to beat 11 other people in a battle of wills. Obviously, again, smart decision would have been to just throw the challenge, go back to camp, socialize, build bonds, have another chat with Trinica. We hadn't really talked since the merge, and she thinks that I hate her at this point because she's blindsided me like 2 times. And it would have been better for my game to go back to camp, but I wasn't ultimately playing Reelfoot to be the best player. I was playing to challenge myself the most. So, and that's what I did. So I still stick by my decision to do that.
It would have been a very interesting game had you not won this challenge, because then Shauna wins immunity.
I know.
Right? So Shauna's not the merge boot. It sounds like Sandra maybe catches the idol as a result.
Yeah, Sandra probably goes, which is probably really good for me.
And Shauna, without Sandra, likely maybe feels less comfortable being with that non-contact group that had voted previously.
I know. Stephen, I know. I know. I know. Again, emotional decisions that didn't help my gameplay, but fuck it. It is what it is.
One thing Trinica mentioned, you kind of alluded to this, is that a big part of her initial merge was reconciling things with you. How was that?
It was a little awkward at first, honestly. Like, I could just tell Trinica was very I don't know. I don't know if standoffish is the right word. So apologies, Trinica. But like Trinica definitely, she felt like our relationship was tarnished and we had more, like there was some damage that needed to be repaired. Whereas I didn't really. I was still pretty like maybe a little tear, right? Like a little tear. But my little tear, I think, was her like shit. Someone's like hit me with a car, right? Like there's a big difference. Like I was like, oh, it's like this impacts our relationship a tiny amount, whereas she was thinking, fuck, like this impacts our relationship a lot. So definitely could sense that from her as well. Yeah, it took us a long time to chat. You know, merge. There's 12 people. There's a lot of new conversations going around. Again, like I was like, Melissa, I'm down to vote Melissa. Like, fuck it. Like straight away, like I did want to stick with Green and my, you know, whatever, but I was also like down to vote Melissa, the first one. You know, like, I just wanted to make sure that like moving forward, I was going to be in a majority, and it was just too hard. I didn't have enough time to solidify any new alliance. You know, it's so hard when you haven't voted together, or you know, at this point it's day 5 or something ridiculous. So the bonds.
Night 5, morning 6.
Right, morning 6. That's insane. Like you've played Reelfoot, Stephen. Like you understand the bonds that people make after fucking 6 days.
Yep.
Like you want to make new alliances, but you haven't tested them, and it's been 6 days. Like that, it's so hard to do. You know, still got to try.
And so was anyone? So when it came to strategizing, you know, like was anyone trying to pull you over? Were you saying, "Hey, no, I'll flip in my alliance," or were you just decided like, "I don't know these people. It's not enough time. I'm just gonna have to roll with what I have."
Yeah. So my immediate play was Shauna. Shauna was the person that I went to and I wanted to align with because one, she's just smart as fuck. Like you can just tell by looking at her, and you could just tell. Like Shauna was my pink Trinica, basically. Trinica was my girl, but Shauna was like my Trinica, but on the other tribe, basically. Like just you can tell she's so smart. So if I want to like get him, yes, she's been voted out, so that means hopefully she'll be more willing to want to work with me and create something new. And she's close with Matt, and we competed head to head in a challenge against each other. Like Shauna was the person I was like, I want you on my side. And then obviously we vote Shauna, but it's because like 7 different names were thrown out there at merge and nothing was sticking. Nothing was sticking before finally Melissa was like, we're voting Shauna. And I'm like, okay, because although I didn't want to vote Shauna. There was no game plan. There was nothing that had stuck yet. Like, you know, so I was like, look, fine. But otherwise, I was sort of, I don't know. Again, I had no relationship with German, so I wasn't talking to him. I was trying to talk back with Hannah. Again, I know she had like low on her radar of people that she wants to work with. But again, Hannah's the type of person that will make it far in the game, so I might as well try and build a relationship with her. Which didn't really work too well because Hannah was like, oh, you know, Ethan, congrats on making merge. And obviously, like, we had just made merge and I'd just done the challenge and I was fucking exhausted. And I'm like, thanks, Hannah, you too. And she's like, oh, is that you okay? I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, I'm just really tired. Sorry. So I'm like, I'm really sorry for not being enthusiastic. Like, I was really just playing fate. Like, this is how I said it. I'm like, genuinely, congratulations on making the merge. I'm so tired. And to her, she was like, why is Ethan like behaving like that? Like, what's because I'm fucking exhausted. Like I want to be as sincere and as energetic as I can and be like, Hannah, congrats on the merge. Good job. We did it. We both did it. But I'm like so tired. I'm like, yeah, you too. Good job. And she's like, what's wrong? Like, you know, she's like, is Ethan okay? Like, is everything like? She's like, is everything all good between us or whatever? I'm like, yes. Like everything is fine. I'm just exhausted. So yeah, again, there's like on this pink tribe, on the swap pink tribe, the people that I'm now at merge with, I'm really just focusing on Shauna, Matt, my greens, and Sandra is the only other person I'm like having a few conversations with. Otherwise, Charlie, I don't know what Charlie's doing. Charlie's doing whatever he's doing. And then Hannah and German, I had no working relationship with at all.
With Maddie, you didn't write his name down, right? You didn't vote him out. So like you hadn't broken that bridge.
Right. I think at merge, Matt and I don't know if we discussed it, but I think we both just agreed we're gonna have to play our own game.
Mhm.
Like, and this is how I went into it too. I said to myself, look, Matt has now made merge. I didn't vote him out, but now I have to focus on my game because if I want to win, he can't be there at the end.
Mhm.
So I might not write his name down again, or I might have to. You know, I don't know what it'll be, but I still have to focus on me first now.
Mhm.
You know, when we swapped, I put Matt first. I put Matt before me. You know, but now I have to put me before Matt. So I was very willing to do that at merge, and I knew Matt was willing to do that as well, and that was fine. I'm like, we both have to play our own game. Like, I still want to work with him and build a relationship with him, and like, you know, be in an alliance with him. But if it's not in the cards, it's not in the cards.
Did you know Tony was getting votes from the other alliance?
I wasn't. We weren't 100% sure, but it was. Yeah, I was like, I know Matt wanted Tony gone, and I was like, no, I'm not voting Tony. I need Tony around.
In all the retrospect, should you have flipped?
Yes, fucking should have flipped. Absolutely should have flipped straight away. And again, it's probably a fault that Trinica and our relationship was a little rocky. I did the night challenge and won. You know, was out there for a fucking 4.5 hours while everyone was back strategizing. Absolutely, I should have been ready to flip as soon as we got to merge. Even if I was at the bottom, fuck it, who cares? Possibilities are endless. The problem is with flipping, I didn't have a relationship with Kiri, with Charlie, with German, with Hannah, with Sandra. I didn't have a relationship with anyone. We could have had it all, I know. But Trinica and I absolutely should have flipped. We should have been, yep, let's vote out Tony, let's vote out Melissa, let's vote out Carl. And then by then, Shauna and Matt are still in the game. I think they still want to work with us. Then we get rid of the German, we get rid of Hannah, you know, then I'm further in the game. Then we get rid of Trinica, then we get rid of Shauna, we get rid of Matt. And then look, it's me, Charlie, and Sandra at the end. And like, you know.
Give it all moved out.
That's the play.
So Tony gets 7 votes. He plays an idol and negates them. German plays an idol and nothing happened. Shauna catches 4 votes, is the first member of the jury. What is the follow? Well, actually, let's go to the next immunity challenge. The next immunity challenge is push me, pull you, where you're holding an iron bar with 2 other iron bars like this and putting as much tension as possible.
Yeah.
Talking about threat level, there is a scene, because we only get to see one part of this challenge, of you and Tony at the very end, the last 2 people standing. And Tony asks, please drop. I need this.
Tony was more like, please drop. I love you, Tony, but you can still give him a little bit of shit for it because it's still funny. You know, like Tony is begging and fucking pleading with his life for me to drop and for me to give him the win. And the challenge was like 40 minutes long, and it's too hard to think strategically in the moment when he's begging and pleading and we're doing an endurance challenge and it's been running for so long. So I based my decision around 2 things. One, I didn't want to give up. And again, I'm playing Reelfoot to challenge myself and push myself and win these challenges. So that was my first thought process around not dropping. My second one was I looked at everyone on the mat and every single person was just shaking their head, don't drop. And if the majority of the tribe is like, don't drop, I'm not going to do it. Trinica was telling me no. Matt was shaking his head no. Sandra was shaking her head no. Like Melissa was saying no. Like everyone was like, don't give it to him. And his reasoning was that Matt is now in the swing vote for this vote, which if he hadn't realized yet, and I don't know if he did, was pretty obvious, and that Tony wanted to be immune, and Matt would flip. And if he did decide to go with the pinks, he wouldn't want me gone. So that was Tony's like logic around me dropping, because he's like, well, Ethan, I'm not safe, and I'm not going to be safe, and he's convinced it's going to be him next, which is fair because he just copped 7 votes. So like, let me do him a solid, give him the win, and Matt will not want to vote me out, and then we're both safe. But everyone's telling me not to drop, and I just wanted to win. I really just wanted to win. I worked too hard. I fucking beasted that challenge. Like I could have gone for another at least 10 plus minutes before like struggling a bit harder. Like I was like, we're at 45 minutes. I think we might have gotten to 47 minutes. Like I definitely could have gone for an hour. So for me, I just wanted to kind of push myself as much as I could, and I just couldn't drop. It was like a moral decision, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't drop.
So you win immunity, so you're not at stake. What is the strategy like this next round? Are these two swap tribes ossified in these 2 alliances, or they're still?
Yes, it's us versus them mentality. It's us versus them mentality, and Matt is smack bang in the middle. And my plea to him is, if you go with them, my game's done. My game is done. If you go with them, that's it for me. Like, and I'm asking you, please look out for me. Apparently, and as Matt said, I did look at this in his interview. He was saying that I was telling him what to do. Again, I really don't remember. If he says that's what I was doing, that's what I was doing. I wasn't trying to do that. You know, I think I was trying to just like, I was trying to say, okay, what I think is logically your best decision is this, this, and this. But it obviously came across as this is what you should do, which, you know, obviously wasn't very smart. But again, I wasn't trying to do that to Matt. I wasn't trying to be like, this is what you need to do 100%. But yeah, I was just trying to get him on my side and say, hey, look, come with us. You know, we'll vote out 2 people on there. We'll vote out, you know, whoever you want, we'll get rid of, and then we'll fucking eat ourselves. It'll be then we want to get rid of Melissa, and then Tony will go, and then who's left in the game? I'm like, Matt. I said to Matt at final 11, I said, Matt, you are in the best seat to win this game right now. At final 11, I said to Matt, you have the best chance of winning the game, because 1, you're going to be the deciding factor into which direction the game goes into right now. And let's just think about the threat level. We have Melissa, we have Tony, we have Trinica, we have me. I've just won 2 challenges, right? Threat level. We have German, who we've been trying to get rid of the entire game. He's played multiple advantages. He's done really well to make himself get to the merge. We have Hannah, very social, very strategic, very good player. You know, we have Sandra, who's survived quite a few tribal councils on the other side. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of threat level, Matt was like, he's been voted out. Like, he now has to build all these relationships up with people. He was in the perfect position to win the game. And that's what I said to him. I said, Matt, whatever you decide, you are in the best position to win the game. Don't fuck it up. Like, this is your game to win. Like, you can win this game. I am in a terrible position to win this game. I have no working relationship with German, with Hannah, with Charlie, with Sandra, with Kiri, and I fucking went against Carl. I went against Melissa. You know, Tony's only keeping me around until you know, the majority will get rid of me. Like, I'm not in a good position to win this game. You are in a very good position to win the game. So, I basically, tried getting him to come to my side and help my game. I obviously did it in the wrong way. I didn't realize I was telling him what to do. I was too tired. Like, I don't remember that. But if I did do that, obviously, I didn't mean to. Wasn't very smart. But I basically just said to him, "You're in the best spot," and he's like, Matt responded like, really? You think so? I'm like, Matt, you are in the best position to win this game right now. Like, you are. Like, no one, because I know Matt, so I know how he plays. And to me, it's really obvious, right?
Mhm.
Socially, Matt is really fun, really goofy, really silly. Everyone loves Matt. But then you can see the difference. You can see a switch flip, the switch. You can see the switch gets flipped when it's now strategy. Now we get into the game. Like, for me, I can tell when Matt is Matt when he's strategic Matt or when he's social Matt, and there's a very big difference, and it's very obvious. It's very clear to see. But Matt makes you feel comfortable. Matt makes you feel loved. Matt makes you feel safe. Matt will vote you out and still, like, you still love him for it. You're like, oh, it's okay. I love Matt. Like, he voted me out. Like, it's all good. Like, I understand these things, and that's why I knew how big of a threat he was to win the game at Final 11. But no one else could see how good of a player he is. And I wasn't going to go blow up his fucking spot because obviously I know I'm not going to win. So I want him to win.
Was there an opportunity for you to flip this round? Or no?
No.
So
it was them versus us. It was them versus us, and I was in the us, and I was loyal, and I'm sticking with Melissa and Tony. You know, even though Tony like was not talking to me after this challenge, like he did not talk to me for about half an hour, 45 minutes. He was very upset with me. It was still us versus them. So
you vote for German. The other
yes,
6 vote for Carl.
that was my decision too. I feel like I led the voting German. Mm-hmm. We know he has an idol that he basically stole from Kiri at Tribal. He plays his idol, and then Kiri's like, Kiri can't reach for the idol that's at Tribal, and German just goes and like steals it. And I'm like, so we know he has an idol, but I still decide let's still vote German because there's no way he thinks that we'll be ballsy enough to vote him out. And this is my play to Matt too. I said, no, they will not see the German vote coming. And it's a really big vote. And it's, I think, like if you can get on board with us voting German, it'll be insane. So I think I definitely pushed the German vote harder than other people because I was like, again, for whatever reason, I'm making like ballsy moves. Like again, we could just vote fucking Kiri, right? And or like we can like vote we can vote not Hannah because people didn't want to do Hannah, but like we could still vote someone like Sandra and not take the risk of German playing the idol on himself. But I was like, you know, like it's a safe move, and to me the smart move was like let's vote German. Like that was to me was the big brain move, and obviously you know it was 6-5, and you know now we're royally fucked. But
well, what adds to the fun is Melissa's going to win the next immunity challenge. So you probably are like, uh-oh, I am very much at risk. What happens here at the final 10?
At final 10, I'm very much at risk. But there's a lot of drama going on. There's a lot of beef, and just with different people not getting along, and ultimately I was very scared it was going to be me, but I was reassured that it wasn't. I don't know if I play my shot in the dark.
You do. You
and
Tony both will end up playing your shots in the darks. Neither of them will be successful.
Yeah. So I think I was like, I felt like it was between me or Tony. However, I did think that it was pretty. Who went then? It was Tony.
Tony's going to be voted out in a 4-2-2 vote. Where both Trinica and Melissa vote German. You get 2 votes, and it's 4 votes Tony.
Yeah. So my point stands. Like, you know, if it wasn't Tony, it was me because they're splitting the vote. You know, so I felt like I had to play the shot in the dark because it was between me or Tony. And they just voted. I think they voted Tony because they liked me more. I'm pretty sure that was the reasoning. Like I just won 2 challenges. Like it makes more sense to vote me out. Like I've won 2 out of the 3 individual immunity challenges. Like strategically, get rid of me because I'm better at challenges. But they voted on who they liked more. I'm pretty sure.
So, with you're now firmly in the minority, Carl and Tony are gone. It's just you, Melissa, and Trinica. Who are you talking to on the other side? Who are you like? What are you?
No
are you
one.
seeing any inroads, or is it
No
just
one.
everything's closed off?
There's fucking no one. Again, I had no relationship with these people. None of them want to chat game with me. Like, we try, right? You try, but like every conversation is just bullshit. It's just nothing is happening. There's fucking like 6 of them just sticking strong, like Muppets. Like, so boring. So fucking boring. And obviously, like, I can chat shit now because, and our point to like Hannah and German was like, you're not going to make the end. You need me and Trinica in the game. You need to use us. You need to flip on your alliance. Like if you want to win and get to the end, you're like at like, and again, their own perception of the 6 was wrong, obviously. But like, to me, it was so clear that like no one was going to take Hannah and German to the end. No.
Why was it clear to you?
Because like German received X amount of fucking 20 votes or something, right? Like he's played a big game so far. He's been a big threat. Like there's just no way people are going to want to go up against someone who received 17 votes and survived. And and then Hannah is just a big social threat player. Like if you think about the final 3, right? You think, okay, Charlie, Sandra, and Matt all had nowhere near as big of a threat level as German and as Hannah. So like it makes no fucking sense for them to stick together and go 6 strong and then just get voted out like 6th and 4th. Again, it made sense to me. Like come with us, do something, do anything. Like we'll be loyal to you to the end. Which again, I would have done whatever was in my best interest in my game, and they knew that. But my strategy at this point was to like roll over and play dead because I had nothing.
It seemed like that at Tribal Council.
I had literally like it. Okay, it coincided with me actually being quite dead. Like I genuinely, like you could tell, like I was exhausted. Like I had pushed myself so far beyond any limit that I had was ever there. But it also played into strategy because I knew the only thing at this point I could do was look like such a fucking goat that people would have no option other than to drag me to the end. And then at the end, I'd just outpitch them and win the game. Like that was my only play. I think I have a confessional at Final 10 where I heard that Hannah had said, Ethan looks like he's just like not even playing the game anymore. And I'm like, perfect. Like she doesn't understand. That's exactly what I wanted her to think, was that I was not playing the game, that, that I could be dragged to the end as a goat and people would be willing to take me to the end. That's the only possible option and strategic play I had left in the game at this point, was to roll over and die and just hope someone would drag me to the end. And then at the end, I would just like give the best fucking speech and just absolutely outclass them and just like dominate the final. Like that was my plan. My plan was to get dragged to the end as a goat because I had nothing left for me going in the game. I'd voted incorrectly quite a lot. I'd broken a lot of alliances, but my pitch at the end would have been I had the hardest path to the final 3, and not only did I get here, but I still felt like I have really good relationships with people on the jury, and like that was my only play, was like hoping Hannah and German would be like, yeah, we can beat Ethan at the end. And then I would take Hannah to the end and go up against like Charlie and Hannah. That would have been like my ideal final 3. And just because like I feel like Hannah rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And I feel like if I had Charlie and Hannah at the end, the pink votes get split between the 2 of them. And then there's me, who, again, Sandra's like, Ethan, if you make the end, you're winning. She said this to me at 10 or something. Sandra said, Ethan, if you make the end, you're going to win because everyone loves you. And I'm like, great. So I don't agree, obviously, because I don't want you to think I can beat you at the end.
Yeah. There's nothing more unsettling than someone at like Final 10 saying, you're a jury threat. You're like, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, great. I'm like, yay. But yeah, that was my only play left. It wasn't going over to the other alliance, hey, willing to vote out my alliance, whatever, because it didn't matter. It was us versus them. I was basically waiting to be voted out for a day and a half. Like, it was pretty boring. Although we had fun with Trinica and Melissa, like I had fun hanging out with them and playing the game and chatting so much shit. I was so tired and so hungry. I stopped caring. I was like, nah, fuck this person. Every little nuance, every little thing that someone did pissed me off. Like every little thing, like someone would like breathe funny or laugh funny, and I'm like that. It just pissed me off because I was so tired and hungry, and I'm not normally like that, but I tried having as much fun as I could before just literally sitting like a duck waiting to be like shot.
Well, is there anything else about the Melissa vote off and your vote off that's worth talking about then, or is it just like inevitability?
It was just inevitability. Like Melissa and I bonded a lot more through being in the minority together. And obviously, like, yes, I tried voting her out and we were working against each other pre-merge, but I love Melissa and we genuinely did bond by being on the bottom together. And, she was my girl and I loved playing with her and she's such a fucking threat. And she knows she's a threat. I feel bad whoever has to play against her in, future years or future games that she plays, because if you let that woman get to the end, and again, I want her to win, right? I'm not just saying this so she doesn't win.
Melissa's just eating this up right now. Like, yes, tell the world, vote me out immediately.
Right, that's not what I want. But Melissa's someone you definitely want to like keep around until early merge, mid merge. Like she's someone that can go at any time, because she's such a big threat. So you just keep her around until the opportunity presents itself, and then you get rid of her. But it's because she's so likable, she's so social, she's like perceived pretty good at challenges. Like I know she would disagree that she was good at challenges. I think she'd say that she was terrible at challenges. But like, she does so much running in her normal life, and she's so lovable. Like Melissa is so lovable, and she's so smart. It's hard to be like lovable and smart, two character traits which are just like really threatening. So we were just in solidarity waiting to be voted out, and it was between me and her, and it was supposed to be a tied vote. Sandra was supposed to vote me or something, and it was supposed to go 3-3, and then on the revote they'd vote Melissa, but it didn't end up that way. Oh no, it was a revote.
It was a 3-3-1-1. Melissa was out in the revote, and the next round it's 4 votes you, 2 votes Trinica.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the next one it was supposed to be split between me and Trinica.
Yeah.
And then then I go on the revote. But I mean, yeah. But yeah, nothing else really happens. We have the fake idol. We tried planting it, and but everyone knew it was fake.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in the game knew there was a fake idol, and blah blah blah. We tried using it, and Tony passed it to me at the tribal council when Carl went, and we tried. There wasn't a lot we could do. The 6 were just staying strong. Again, boring, whatever. Like again, I don't blame them. I really don't. But you got to think for Hannah and German's game, obviously, they didn't make the end, and the only way that they possibly make the end, in my opinion, is for them to have worked with me and Trinica. And I thought that made logical sense, but they obviously felt confident enough in their 6, which was fair play to the people making them feel confident. Like Charlie. Again, Charlie played really well. He made them feel confident. He made German feel really confident. Hannah and German, again, no idea, but they felt too confident.
Question to you. German and Hannah come up to you at Final 8 and say, we want to vote Maddie. What do you say?
Oh, good question. I'd have to really believe it. I'd have to be, I would be down because, again, it's I have to play for myself. I have to. So I would be down, but I'd have to really believe it.
Mm-hmm.
If I genuinely believe that they were down to vote Matt, I probably would vote Matt. Yeah, because again, I have nothing going for me. It's Final 8. I just need to make it a little bit further in the game, and I'm almost there. It's really close to being in the end game. I just need to make it every round that I'm still in is a round that I can win immunity, and that's another round that I can stay even longer. So. Yeah, I think if they come up to me like Matt, I probably would. I would definitely. I'd anything. I would have done anything.
So, as a jury member, what were you looking for in a winner?
Matt. I was backing my boy Matt the entire time.
Okay.
Everyone knew that. at final tribals, I genuinely vote emotionally, which I think shocks a few people. And I've talked to Matt after the game about it, and he was saying to the others, like Sandra and whatever, that I do not do that, and I vote very strategically. But I do vote emotionally at the final three because personally, I prefer voting for someone to win, being someone that I want to see succeed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Matt's my boy, and like, I just said to, like, yes, I was barracking and pitching for him a lot on the jury, but ultimately I just said, it doesn't matter what I say about Matt's game. I promise you, Matt will convince you to vote for him himself.
Mm-hmm.
However, these are the reasons I'm voting for him, besides the fact that he's my boy.
Mm-hmm.
We did our jury round table, and we were like, put your hand up if you are like annoyed or pissed off the fact that Matt voted you out. No one puts their hand up. I'm like, okay, and then we're like, put your hand up if Charlie or Sandra, like, if you don't like the fact that they voted you out. Like, multiple people raise their hand. I'm like, right. My point exactly. Matt is so good socially that he can vote you out, and you still don't care enough, and you still want to see him win, that you're willing to vote for him at the end. I'm like, do you not see how good of a social game he has played? Like, people did not want to vote Sandra and did not want to vote Charlie, and it's because it was the us versus them mentality. And that's why, like, you know, that's why Matt did so well, is because he played the game and voted everyone out, and yet people still wanted to vote him to win. Whereas Charlie and Sandra, everyone like, yeah, they voted me out, and I don't like that they did that. So I'm just like, look, trust me, get to the final three. Matt will convince you to vote for him himself. But I genuinely think he's played the best game out of the three of them that are at the final three. And I will 1,000% be giving him my vote, and I will be encouraging you guys to vote for him as well.
No surprise about the outcome of the final tribal council?
None. I knew he was winning. I knew he was winning. I didn't I knew he was winning, and I didn't want to show Matt that I was going to vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
So
I didn't want to make a very neutral question.
Yeah. My question was,
what aspect of the game did you do better than the two players next to you?
Yeah, which I think it's a good question, because not only does it allow you to elaborate on your own game, but it also allows you to differentiate the different strengths that you had from the other two people sitting next to you. And you get to talk a little bit of shit about them, like a little bit, you know what I mean? So you get to bring yourself up while also like showing what you did better than the two people. Like, I want to know, like, what aspect of the game you did better. Like, if you're so good socially that you did it so well that you think that you should win the game, then if I agree with you, then you should win the game. And I basically just said at the end, I will be voting for the person who wants to win the most. And to me, at Final Tribal, I love seeing people who want to win. Like, people who are not willing to roll over and just accept defeat. Like, I don't want to see someone who disagrees. Say, for example, Matt says something and Sandra disagrees with his answer. I don't want Sandra to just sit there and not say anything. Like, I want her to fight for the win. Like, I want to see the winner be someone who's willing to fight for every vote. Someone who's gotten to the end and hasn't just gotten to the end and be like, oh, the game's over now. The game is not done. And I want you to show me how willing you are to win this game and how badly you want my vote. And if you can earn it, then you will absolutely get my vote. But it was also just like, hey, Matt, like, try as hard as you can to win, Like, I need to see your energy. Like, I need to see your determination. Like, if you show me determination, you will easily win over the jury.
Is there anything else about your experience you want to talk about that maybe we haven't had a chance to dig into?
It was fucking really hard. It was it was like the hardest thing I've done in my life. It was almost low-key a little traumatizing. It was like it again, I would 100% do it again. But for the future players, next season and moving forward in Reelfoot, I think try and have more fun. I think I took the game too serious and I got too worked up in my emotions and my feelings. I think do your best to enjoy the experience and enjoy the struggle. But in saying that, I definitely wouldn't change anything that happened. And I thoroughly enjoyed playing with everyone. Our cast was fantastic, amazing, sensational. We had such a gameplay-based cast where everyone's willing to play the game. Obviously, it sucks. The merge was, obviously kind of boring because we just got pagonged for 5 votes and, it was fucking uninteresting. But pre-merge was insane and fair play to the 6 who stuck strong. Like, it takes a lot to stick 6 people strong. And I give you guys credit. Like, if you think that makes the best strategic decision, most logic for you in your game, obviously go for it. I really enjoyed getting to meet every single person out there. Amos, Pete, Parker, Trevor, like the guys that run the show, they do a fantastic job. It's such a loving community. I got to hang out with Stan, who has played Reelfoot twice. He was the doctor. I got to hang out with Lydia, like all these people who like this really small family. Like that's why when I did my interview to play for Reelfoot, that was one of the biggest reasons I wanted to play, because I wanted to come over to the US and be part of a Survivor family. And Reelfoot is absolutely a family. It's a really small, awesome community of people who obviously love the game, but are just super awesome people. And game aside, only one person's going to win. And I think it's just really important to focus on having fun and building genuine friendships with people, and just enjoy the fuck out of the experience and just embrace the struggle, because it's not easy and it's really, really hard. And bring a warm jacket or something because it's fucking cold.
So as we close out, I have some rapid fire questions to throw at you. You ready?
Yep, ready.
Who surprised you the most out there?
Charlie.
Who you wish you had a chance to work with but didn't?
Sandra.
Reelfoot is having a returning season. What's one player from your cast that's not yourself you'd like to see play again?
One person I'd love to see play again. Trinica.
What was your favorite challenge?
Oh, that's a hard one. There's too many challenges. Probably the first individual immunity challenge. Gotcha. Standing outside. I know it's not that fun, but yeah.
You won it, so it's allowed.
Yeah.
What is a favorite camp life moment that maybe we haven't talked about?
I don't know, probably Matt farting or something stupid. I don't know. He was farting all the time. I know we had a lot of fun when it was just the 6 of us and we won 3 challenges in a row. So just that entire day.
Mm-hmm. If you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice before playing Reelfoot, what would it be?
Play more strategically and logically rather than emotionally.
On your next trip to the United States, what place do you want to visit?
New York.
Okay.
I want to go back there.
New York City, I imagine, right? Or just
New York City.
Gotcha.
Yeah, New York City.
Playing Reelfoot for 7 days, how do you think this is going to change your watching or consumption of Survivor?
I mean, I barely watch it or consume any Survivor as it is. I haven't even gone back and watched the Reelfoot footage. So
you're waiting for the episodes.
Yeah, I'll wait for the episode. I'll probably watch them. It doesn't change how I view Survivor at all. I love playing and I love being part of the family. I don't really watch that often, but I still love the show.
What was the biggest difference between Sydney Survivor and Reelfoot for you?
The Sydney Survivor, we had a really good cast as well. I've been very fortunate to be part of 2 really good casts. But I mean, Reelfoot was like different level. Like again, like Sydney Survivor was obviously different game, 1-day format. People were playing the game hard, didn't have enough time to like strategize and make good bonds. This game, the caliber of players were fucking ridiculous. Everyone was so good at the game. So yeah.
When do you think Australia will have a 5+ day game?
Never.
That's why we need to have you and Maddie make it happen.
I know, and I'm thinking about it, but it's a lot of work. I don't know.
It's a lot of work.
And if that ever happened and I ran my own game, people should be prepared to fucking starve and suffer. Because playing Reelfoot really makes me realize how far you can push people and how far you can push yourself. Like, you know, up until the merge, I barely ate any food and I barely slept and it was fucking cold and it was wet the first couple of days, but I still got through it. I still did persevere in the challenges. Like, you can push yourself a lot further than what you think you can. And if I was ever to host my own 5-day game, I would make sure that people suffer a lot.
Last question. Will you be back in the States someday to play another game, perhaps?
If I get invited back for a returnee Reelfoot, I'll definitely come back.
Okay.
But it's a lot of money. So it'd have to be probably an 8-day game or at least like 6, 7, or 8 days to make it really worth it. And I think I'd have to be invited to play more than just be like, oh, I want to go play this game. It's a lot of money and it's a big commitment. I would love for people to invite me to play. It gives me more reason to be like, fuck it, I'll spend the money, whatever. Right now, I can't justify. I'm like beyond broke. I was talking to my girlfriend about going to Melbourne in a few months, and she's like, "Are you sure you can afford that?" And the answer is no. So, you know, I'm like, I still might do it anyway, but you know, the point is like I don't have the money, so I would definitely come back and play returnee Reelfoot game without a doubt. I'd 100% do that. But otherwise, it could be a long time before I come back and play another game.
But someday.
Someday, yeah.
Well, from Trinica, we'll start a GoFundMe.
Oh, please. Well, if you do, like Trinica, you can be the first person. I think you said $500 or something, Trinica, you were going to put towards it. So if you want to start with that, we can go from there.
So, Ethan, thank you so much for getting up so early to do this with me, because I know it's still like, what, okay. 10:30-ish?
Yeah, it's 10:30. It's not that early. But I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I really appreciate getting to talk with you again. Would love to do another AU US Survivor podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
One of my goals is to watch the new Survivor now that I know like three of the people who are playing it. So
yeah. Absolutely should. It's a fun season.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, both US, Australia, and elsewhere. This has been one of many Surviving Reelfoot deep dive podcasts, but there are still more players yet to come. This Wednesday at 8 p.m. US Central Time, I'll be talking to Kiri, the third international player, but not from Australia, from Canada. So get excited to dig into her game and the decisions she made and the lack of sleep she also experienced. So yeah, take care, everyone, and have a good rest of your morning or evening.
Thanks, Stephen.